Welcome, everyone, to another episode of We're Talking About One of Those Warriors books again. This is not a real title. As in our discussion of Sky, I have brought on three lovely guests. Moonkitti, BrightGuardianAkira, and Hawkkz, all of whom have channels that I have linked down below. Today, though, we are joining together with the aim of discussing a certain book that came out at the beginning of this month, Shadow, the newest book in the A Starless Clan arc. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, though, first of all, would you all like to say hello, introduce yourselves, whatever's your druther?
Hi, I'm Hawkkz. I do YouTube, sometimes kinda. Hi. I don't know what else to say.
Sorry, me and Akira are in a politeness contest right now.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Moonkitti. I make videos once a week.
Hello, I'm Akira. I'm also here. And believe it or not, I make some videos.
That's incredible. I'm learning so many new facts about all of you. Anyway, I thought it would be nice for this time to start off by giving each person a quick minute to share their overall impressions of this book. Moon, why don't we start with you? What are your thoughts? First? I'm making you go first.
It's because I didn't do my homework.
It's because you have the most experience. You have years on us.
Oh, just because I'm 30, huh? Okay. So I am... So I went into this book thinking, okay, I'm going to be disappointed by this book. I am going to be made mad by this book. And because I went in thinking I'm going to be disappointed and I'm going to be made mad, I think I was pleasantly surprised on multiple points. I wasn't, I did not come out of this angry. And that's good.
That's great, yeah. Akira, would you like to take it away from here? What are you thinking?
Overall, there was a number of good ideas, sometimes poor execution and poorly coming together, but overall there was some nice things, and I enjoyed it more than in the first two books, I think. And there was a lot of talking in this book, which is good and bad, but we'll get into that.
We will. And Hawkkz as well, yes.
Yes. I actually did write something this morning because I wanted to be a good boy and do my homework.
I'm so proud of you.
Okay, so before I start, I just want to preface that out of everyone in this group, I am the last to finish the book, so I haven't really had much time to really reflect on what I read, but I will say that I absolutely enjoyed Shadow. So far, A Starless Clan has just started off really strong, in my opinion, and Shadow added to that in a lot of ways that I did expect, but were still fun nonetheless, and it was cool to finally see them happen in the books. Does that mean that it was necessarily perfect? Absolutely not. But so much of it, especially in my opinion, Splashtail and Squirrelfight and Bramblestar, I really liked. And I think for its strengths, this is a very good read, and I can't wait to see where Thunder takes it next, knowing what we know about the plot. And all I'm going to say is that if a book can finally get me to sympathize with Bramblestar, they have to be doing something right. Okay. I mean,
that's impressive, yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say, even though you are the most recent to finish the book and you consider that a negative, it also means that you probably have the freshest memory.
That is true.
So it's entirely possible we will have worked something in our heads since we read it.
Hey, who knows, maybe.
I'm only a few hours.
She's only a few hours ahead of me, but
Moon and I got. Anyway, for my part, I'm generally with you. I enjoyed the book. I really enjoyed the opportunity for the more clan tensions, interpersonal drama thing, more than I would have enjoyed a quick war. I don't like battle scenes. I'm biased. So this was great for me. More cats have definable personalities in each of the clans, which is always nice to see. It made for some great funny moments, and some random character bits that we have been pulling from in the days since. And we actually have clues now towards identifying what the mystery is pointing to, rather than just vague gestures of there being a mystery. So yeah, I'm generally happy with most of what happened, and we'll get into the rest later.
I would hesitate to call them clues. I would
Yeah,
say
I was-
outright statements.
Answers?
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
really vague there.
They jumped. Well, okay, no, we'll get into that later. But they did jump from "Ooh, there's a mystery" to "Here's the mystery," except we haven't definitively said that that's the case.
Hey, I mean, I like it. You know,
It's good.
sue me.
I don't actually need Warriors to be a murder mystery drama. We're fine. Anyway, I was going to say, let's start off with a topic that I feel will be overlooked otherwise. Frostpaw being a warrior apprentice and enjoying it and being good at it.
Yeah, I like that a lot until like 90% of her chapters devolved into training sessions, and it was just repeat. Like I literally like clocked out and fell asleep whenever that happened. I'm not gonna lie.
Training sessions are, in my mind, something akin to traveling segments of a book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They don't add anything of value by their content, and what ends up being useful is the character interactions or relationships building around them, or character sense of self sometimes.
Yeah.
And I felt that was happening quite a bit, actually. I know Hairlight more than I've ever known Hairlight, and I was happy to do that.
I do think... Oh, sorry, you go.
Okay. I feel like a lot of the Frostpaw chapters, like, when they had the training sessions, they only, like, trained for, like, a couple pages, and, like, the rest of the chapter was spent talking to some cat, usually Splashtail.
Yeah, that was true, but, like, I was, like, skimming until, like, I got to, like, okay, where's the actual chapter gonna start? You know?
Like, I do think that it is important that we see, like, who Hairlight is to Frostpaw, and we see that Frostpaw actually is not only succeeding in her training, but doing vaguely well and enjoying herself and having a good time. Like, I think that these are actually important character moments for Frostpaw, who up until this point was very shallow on character, to be honest.
She was mostly a camera for the last two books, and this book has been showing more of who she is beyond a ball of nerves, which is really nice, because I kind of thought she was going to be Shadowsight 2.0, but she's becoming slightly less Shadowsight 2.0, and that's great.
1.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that that's not, like, important, but, like, I just feel like whenever it's getting to that point in the story, it's just not any, like, especially with all of the other books that we have, you know, that have built up to this point, you know, in the series, you know, it's something that we've already seen before. Training it's kind of in one ear out the other, but I do like Hairlight, you know.
No plot will be progressing, but I love being able to read into such things as Frostpaw catching giant fish 3 times her size and Splashtail saying, I've seen better. You're an okay apprentice, but you'd be an amazing healer, though, right? Wouldn't you be such a great healer? You'd be such a good hero.
Definitely was not gaslighting her at all.
He is such a good cat. Wouldn't he make such a good boyfriend?
He's so awful.
She has no idea that cat is gay.
Oh, absolutely no idea. Slight shout out to Riddle on Twitter and YouTube here, because she's been reading through the book recently, and we co-signed a headcanon together that Splashtail's gay, for the record, but that Frostpaw is Sapphic Ace, and has chosen Splashtail because, 1, it seems like the normal thing to do to get a mate, and 2, because getting a mate would mean not being a medicine cat, and that means fleeing from her trauma.
I'm so sorry, Sunny. She's getting with that young warrior next book, no matter what.
What young warrior? You mean Neidhart?
Neidhart, yeah.
No, I mean mysterious young warrior.
She's not getting with mysterious young warrior. I refuse to believe that.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see how much money you owe me after this one.
I'm not betting anything on it.
Yeah, of course you're not.
Yeah, she's scared.
The point is, she's a Sapphic Ace. She's making a contract out of her relationships, because this is the only way in which she can understand it. And she actually wants to date Whistlepaw over in Wind Clan. That's the point.
Mhm.
Anyway, since we're moving it into it anyway, our murder mystery in heavy quotations. We have a lot of revelations this book about exactly what's happening.
Yes, all of the
Yeah.
revelations. All
Every
of them.
revelation. Really, the only one now is, who killed Frostpaw? Who is not dead. She's very not dead.
I
Who's
wonder
the only person
who.
who knew who Frostpaw was going
Yeah,
to win
exactly.
again?
Yeah, literally. I'm like,
Who could have possibly done it?
Was it Breeze Pelt? Oh,
I think it was Breeze Pelt. Yeah, I think
Well,
it's Breeze Pelt.
Really, the only question is it Splashtail, or is it a cat who was told to do it by Splashtail?
Dude, it's 100% Splashtail. Like, I've seen those theories bouncing around Twitter. I don't even want to entertain it. It is so obvious that it's Splashtail. I mean, literally, it's right after, like, she talks to him about the visions. There's no way.
Splashtail is inevitably involved. It's just a question of, like, is it his paws doing it?
Yes.
I think Splashtail is the vehicle through which they're going to say that Duskfeather and such, the people in his group, are, like, actually, like, not that bad. They're going to probably go the route that Splashtail was, like, going behind the scenes and, like, going too far. Well, like, the other, to, like, get their goals or something.
Yeah. Okay, maybe this is a crazy theory, but I also think Curlfeather was involved with them somehow.
No, that's not crazy.
Yeah,
it's not a crazy theory at all.
I feel like that whenever she was kind of like sowing those seeds in like Frostpaw's mind that she had to become a medicine cat, and obviously this was talked about in the book, but they kind of cast doubt on it whenever they bring up we found bones in the whenever she died to the dogs, and I think that's just a red herring.
And also,
personally,
no, I think the main thing about Curlfeather is that when they find Reed Whisker's body, Frostpaw's like, those look like an animal killed him or something, and then he's like, no, it's just a fall. Like, Curlfeather kind of pushes that.
I think Curlfeather died by accident, and Splashtail was gonna be her choice for deputy. That's my personal take on it. I think they faked the feather sign, probably because it was easier to do. Because I mean, like, what are you gonna do for somebody named Splashtail? You know what I mean? Like if she sees somebody go swimming in River Clan, that's not gonna be like the most alarming thing to ever happen to her in her life. You know what I'm saying?
I got a problem here, though. With
problem?
The idea that that Curlfeather's death was an accident. The fact that Curlfeather climbs up a tree saying "trust no one,"
yeah,
being pulled back and mauled to death by the dogs, that basically implies someone did this to her, no matter what.
Yeah.
I think she's saying that to warn her of Splashtail.
Why though?
Why
because
would
Splashtail? Because Splashtail's setting her up to be the medicine cat. So why would she have to be afraid of Splashtail if Splashtail wasn't specifically turning on Curlfeather at that moment?
Well, she would have known that he killed Reed Whisker if she'd have been a part of it.
Yes,
and you got to think Duskfeather is also a part of that group as well. Yeah, Duskfeather.
There's no particular reason that she would think of Splashtail in that moment if he wasn't somehow involved in her death.
Why would she be worried for Frostpaw if Splashtail has been in her corner this entire time and Frostpaw is her plant?
Because
what would Splashtail have done to betray her?
I'm gonna sit on that.
I'll sit. I am currently under the belief that Curlfeather's death was somehow orchestrated, at least to a point.
Yeah, and I don't think that
orchestrated on a whim, even, but orchestrated to some degree.
I don't think the prey bones are a red herring. I think the dogs had to have been led there just because. Otherwise, why? Like Hawkkz doesn't really even do red herrings.
Well, it would be to what is it? Warn Frostpaw, right?
The prey bones were there to warn.
No. Curlfeather dying and then saying that to Frostpaw.
Yeah, but what is she warning her of?
Splashtail.
Well, here's the thing. If at that point Splashtail has not betrayed Curlfeather and Splashtail have been in the same corner the whole time, then Frostpaw should not be in any danger. There's no reason in that case that Splashtail would be threatening her.
Like if she like if she and Splashtail had like previously known about the dogs or previously like essentially she would have to have history with Splashtail and the dogs to know that Splashtail had sent the dogs after her, you know? Like that would be the point in which she's telling Frostpaw don't trust any cat because she knows that the dogs were sent by the cat. She wouldn't randomly say don't trust any cat just because she's dying now.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe she says that she doesn't mention like Splashtail by name because she doesn't know which cat like of our group did it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Could it like because there's like Mallow Nose or something that's in there too. And
Yeah, Mallow Nose and Duskfur. Yeah, Duskfur. Yeah.
Although Duskfur is her mother.
Yeah, that's also another reason why I think they had to have been involved at some point. You know, and it's a fair point that you bring up that maybe like she actually did get betrayed by Splashtail, but Splashtail has seemed pretty what is it? I'm forgetting the. Well, sus, yeah, but he seemed pretty content with just being deputy. Like, what is it? He's obviously could totally be lying, and this is probably
like deputy
why.
to Owlnose?
Yeah, and then what is it? He was bringing up. God, I need to
right because a Tiger Star had come to insert Icewing and Cloverfoot as the new leaders.
Yes.
And he was arguing with RiverClan that he should still get to be leader because he was deputy.
And I know
if Owlnose was
I think whenever I gotta look at this, whenever Frostpaw confesses tells him about the vision or whatever, I think he says something specifically about being deputy. But I could be wrong. Let me. You guys just continue. I'll look for this.
Maybe we should move into like the
Well,
character.
I did have one more thing to do before we switch completely. But as far as Frostpaw's death, are we all in agreement that she's not dead?
Well, I think
Yeah,
they could do it either way. I mean, they could like give her like a Tiger Star moment where she's just like fully revived and like the wound is gone. But I'm leaning.
Should clarify, not permanently dead.
Yeah,
she's still going to be a protagonist for the next 3 books.
Absolutely, there's no way that she's not.
Thing.
Yeah, there's no way she's not coming back to life. But I think what's more likely is that because that they said that she was gravely injured, she's probably just like not dead at all. But this is like the only way that she's even going to be able to talk to StarClan.
The question then comes, how much dead do you think she is? Is she ghost wandering? Is she injured and just having a delirious dream?
Well, if we know that she's speaking to Riverstar and Riverstar is giving her a quest, I think it's pretty obvious or pretty safe to bet that she's going to go to StarClan and then they send her back.
That quest is in StarClan and they undead her.
I don't know whether or not it's going to be in StarClan. That's a cool theory.
I don't think they'd do that.
Why is that?
Because they don't really. The only time they spend time in StarClan is for very special occasions.
That's true, but yeah, she makes a pretty good point here because I wasn't it in. Oh God, this is like blaspheme, but like in Squirrelflight's Hope, whenever Squirrelflight went to StarClan, they what is it? They went back to the old forest, right? The old camp there, and they didn't even have to travel. Like it was just there, right? It's not.
Oh yeah, that's been true since the second series. Actually, Tiger Star, when he brought Bramblestar and Brambleclaw and Hawkfrost in, had brought them to Four Trees at one point.
Yeah, so
it seems like the Ancestor world, you can just create whatever you want, whenever you want.
Yeah, I don't think it would be much of a journey, if she could just like instantly teleport to like the cats at the park or like Warrior Clan or anything like that, So I definitely think it's probably
But
going to
the
be a
cats
case.
wouldn't be there.
That,
She
yeah,
can only find the place.
that's true. But how is her body going to get there? Is she going to like magically like transpose herself like squirrel flight? Because like
Well,
at that
my
point she would have had to
personal thought-
leave, right?
My personal thought was that she could get like the message of where to go and maybe even the vision of what it looks like, what she's looking for in StarClan while she's delirious.
And then she
But
stays
then
as
she
a ghost.
undeads, takes up a young warrior to join her on her journey, and sneaks away from RiverClan because she's currently in danger there.
Oh, yeah. Actually, okay. This is complete copium. But if she was to come back as like a ghost or something, or if like her body like actually was like dead or something, that the young warrior or what? Okay, it says young warrior, so already this is off the deep end. But if I whatever, just ghost, I immediately think Root Spring, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's depressed and old now. I forgot. I forgot.
Not even that old.
I know.
Broken Code was so short.
Yeah, but he's not Nightheart's age like Moon
He
said.
is. They even acknowledge
Oh,
it.
Yeah,
they are?
They're actually the same age.
Oh,
In
no.
book 2, they're like, Root Spring, who's basically the same age as me, looks 10 million years older. I wonder if it's because his wife
It's
is dead
because
and he's sad now.
depression.
Oh boy.
Root Spring is unfortunately your age, Hawkkz.
Oh no.
He's a poor, depressed, middle-aged baby.
But yeah,
Yeah.
wild take. Root Spring could just show up and just like push Nightheart out of the plot. I'm not saying that I wouldn't enjoy that, but I don't know if that's really going to
That's not
happen.
happening.
Yeah, it's
It's
not
not
happening.
My hypothetical is just she's not actually dead now. She's injured and gets to go to StarClan because that's what you do when you dream.
Mhm.
Gets the message there, and then when she wakes up, she has to sneak off because she's in danger, and she picks up a young warrior for the journey because I don't know.
Yeah.
Boring to do it alone.
Yeah. Her. Go ahead. My bad.
Sorry. I was just going to say, on the subject of Young Warrior, I don't think it's Nightheart anymore because I think if it was Nightheart, they might the blurb might have just said it was Nightheart.
Yeah.
Because it's not a spoiler for her to go with Nightheart because Nightheart was in ShadowClan, is in ThunderClan again, and has nothing to do with WindClan.
Maybe
Unless they were keeping Nightheart's no, it's a boy. Maybe they're unless they're keeping Nightheart's name out of the blurb for the purpose of not misleading that he's in ThunderClan because the book is called Thunder.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Okay, but who could that be? What character in maybe it's Lightleap. Oh no, it's not him.
No,
Him.
Lightleap is a yeah. No, I mean,
Well, she's
people have
currently going
speculated
to
it's
WindClan.
people have speculated it's Flutterfoot, the only young WindClan character that exists, who's a Tom.
I don't know. I don't think
I would believe it.
unless they literally like invented somebody on the spot for her to go with. I don't think that there's anybody really story relevant for her to at this point for her to go with.
We
other
still
than,
haven't
Nightheart.
like even
Oh, young warrior.
we still haven't even mentioned Splashdale. Like they haven't revealed him as the killer yet, so they can do
That's
whatever they want
true.
with him.
Yeah, I think
Hypothetically,
that's what makes it
oh
fun.
wait, no, I just thought of a very cursed timeline where she says, "Oh no, I'm in danger. Someone tried to kill me last night."
And then she
Quick,
brings
young
Flash
warrior Splashtail, come with me to
yeah.
the territory.
I mean, I could see it.
I could see
I
it,
can
but
see
I
it happening.
I
I am
really
literally
don't
all
want it
for
There's
to.
it.
no way this goes
Yeah.
well.
No, I want it. I want it.
I-
That,
no.
that, would
That
be,
was like-
that would be
that was my-
fantastic if he's still
yeah.
evil.
Yeah, that was my
Please
thought.
don't
Like
believe
once this book was over, it's like, oh, it can't be Nightheart because he has like so much drama in ThunderClan now. And like, oh, well, I guess Splashtail is like still not revealed yet.
But
Okay.
imagine if she gets to wherever Riverstar's going, like telling her to go, and then like she's told something that reveals that he's the killer, right? What is she gonna do then? If it's Splashtail, and she like learns from StarClan or like through like Reed Whisker or Misty Star or somebody, that he is the killer, and that's when like she knows. What is she gonna do?
Run.
Run? Run all the way like across the mountains and back to the
It'll
lake?
probably involve some hiding.
With
Although
stubby little RiverClan legs too.
there is an alternative route that's not through the mountains where you go through a couple of two lake places.
That's true.
And that's also fine.
Yeah, isn't that the... No, I'm thinking... I was like, isn't that the
It's where they met
Firestar's...
Purdy.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. I was thinking
I
Firestar's
actually-
quest.
I think any companion is something I'm okay with. If it's we're gonna hypothetically call the young warrior Flutterfoot if it's a new character is what I'm gonna do, even though it might not necessarily be Flutterfoot. But the hypothetical Flutterfoot, I'm fine with that. They've been they've been introducing new characters with nothing going for them almost every book this arc, and just having them be characters for a book. They did it with Hairlight, they did it with Owlnose, and so like sure, just give me another
I'm fine
one.
with that.
I don't mind. It's going to be a little bit uncomfortable if it's her love interest, but who cares? At least that means they're going to cover the medicine cat love interest thing a little bit. Secondarily, if it's Splashtail, great, he's evil. If she goes on a mission with an evil cat, that's nothing but interesting. And third, if it's Nightheart, then great, because it takes Nightheart out of ThunderClan and makes it so that we have Sunbeam perspective chapters in ThunderClan without any Nightheart.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be pretty good. Sunbeam alone in a stranger clan.
Yeah, that's why I'm more entertaining the fact that it could be Nightheart.
Wonder if they'll keep the 3 tests for Sunbeam. And what
I would
nice to her.
say. I hope they don't, because like I'm literally like after that book I'm so tired of tests. I mean even if Barry Hart made them interesting, just by being Barry Hart. Yeah,
interesting though.
Yeah, but like I don't think there's no Barry Hart in ThunderClan other than like the background xenophobic cats that they're just gonna like pull out of a hat. You know what I'm saying? Like ThunderClan has too many characters. Yeah,
Thornclaw's right there for
you think he's gonna come
He's in the
limping up
opposite.
like an old man?
Yeah, but he's a great xenophobe. Whenever you need a xenophobe.
You think he's gonna come limping up like an old man? He's gonna be like, "We must put you to the test, Sunbeam. I have come up with these 3 tests for you to take, but in order for you to join ThunderClan."
Demonstrate for me these tests 3.
Yeah, I don't know if Squirrelflight's gonna allow that. No.
No. See, Finchlight's the one who suggested the 3 tests, so ThunderClan probably has at least thought about them. We haven't seen poor Fernstripe on screen once, but
Literally never. She's there. She sure
Do
is
not
there.
know who that is. I do not know who that
Fernstripe
is.
is the... Oh my goodness. Didn't we explain this just a couple of
we
days ago?
did. We told
Did
you
you?
who she was like a
Fernstripe
day
is
ago.
Shelfer's...
I don't know.
Fernstripe is Shelfer's new mate. Fernstripe came over from WindClan when the new code change got introduced, and Shelfer is one of the Thorn Blossom kits. He was a jerk for one book with Spotfur, and he was Bumblestripe's apprentice.
Oh yeah, we did. We literally talked about this like yesterday.
Yeah, I gave almost that exact moment.
yeah. Okay, I remembered Shelfer, just not Fernstripe, because I remember we were talking about this under the context of like the Sunbeam.
Of it was specifically to do with Shelfer, because Fernstripe's only notable characteristic was in WindClan, now in ThunderClan, made it to Shelfer. Wahoo.
Yeah. I only remembered that we were talking about Sunbeam's nightmare of Nightheart hooking up with like a silver cat, and then we were just like, oh yeah, it could be literally anyone. And then I said,
Darkstripe.
Yeah, Darkstripe, and I was like, yeah, Bumblestripe, yeah.
Anyway, since we were sort of getting into it anyway, the Splashtail and Berryheart coalition.
Predictable.
Predictable?
Yeah.
I didn't predict it. I thought they would be on opposite sides of the conflict.
That's true.
It didn't seem like they had consistent goals.
That's true.
I'm happy they tied it together.
Yeah, but Berryheart, whenever they gave her like that whole chapter of exposition, that's when I really it really clicked with me. Like, if they didn't like have Sunbeam go out of her way to like talk with Berryheart, then I don't think that really she would have had much reason to do any of that. And honestly, looking back on that chapter, Berryheart, like she brought up some good points other than let's kick out Nightheart, which she didn't say during that thing. But like Berryheart like actually sounded convincing, which I think added like a lot of like needed depth to her character. And like I totally believe it. I totally believe that she would work with Splashtail to reach that goal after that point.
And the funny thing is, Barry Hart's like their goals are at least Barry Hart's goal is kind of almost aligned with what are supposed to be the good guys, like Squirrel Flight and Leaf Star.
Yeah,
Because they both want to liberate River Clan.
exactly.
Yeah, and that's awesome, dude. Like, you know, there's like actual like moral quandaries here where you're actually being posed whether or not like who's right and who's wrong, and the answer is nobody.
Exactly. We currently have 3 notable antagonists: Splash Tail, Berry Heart, and Tiger Heart Star. None of whom are doing things that we can't empathize with at all. We understand where all of them are coming from, and there are even some good characters who, Splash Tail aside, maybe.
Yeah.
He kind of just wants to be a leader. But the other 2, we understand where they're coming from, and there are even some characters we like who agree with them. But the problems with all 3 of them is their methods. They're going about it super duper wrong. And that's showing in how they're aligning with each other. Berry Heart and Splash Tail are willing to ally themselves with each other despite having different goals because they don't really care about the means right now.
Right. And it's good that
it's like, it's like interesting how Barry Hart's like keeps saying like, I don't care what happens to River Clan, like they can do it.
Doesn't matter to me as long as we don't have to be in their business.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as much as I didn't like those chapters after Frostpaw died, I also think it's ironic in a good way that what Barry Hart was doing, like what she was trying to prevent, ultimately ended up, you know, pushing that, you know, ThunderClan and SkyClan are gonna attack them like further. Like she, like the thing that she was trying to prevent, you know, that she sounded so convincing of, ended up causing the thing that she didn't want to happen in the first place. You know, I think that's a lot of poetic irony that I really appreciate out of that. Even if
it's nice.
Yeah, even if I did think that the book should have ended with Frostpaw dying, but
they gotta follow that turn order.
Yeah.
They don't always follow it. Sometimes they mix it up with this, but here they stuck with it.
I genuinely wouldn't change anything about those last 2 chapters except for putting them before the Frostpaw one.
Literally.
Because I liked both chapters as isolated incidents. It's just that's not the cliffhanger?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't really care about anything else you're telling me right now. I'm thinking about the Frostpaw dead thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I was expecting a 25th chapter because of that.
Yeah. With like Riverstar just comes out of nowhere and he's like Frostpaw, I am here to christen you with this unforeseen knowledge that nobody knew about ever.
No, that'll be the prologue of the next book.
Well, the next book is going to start with her just being fine.
Yeah.
I think
and they're not gonna talk about anything. They're just gonna be like, oh, the other day when I was attacked, that sure was weird. Kind of like how at the end of what was it, Outcast, Eclipse? No, yeah, where the kids are like, there's a prophecy about us, and then they skip that conversation. And they all know about the prophecy in the next book.
Oh, this is one of my biggest Warriors pet peeves. Yes. So for those of you who don't know, the entirety of Power of Three is supposedly a story about 3 children exploring their powers given to them by the prophecy that there will be 3 kin of your kin with the power of the stars in their paws. Supposedly, I say, because they take every opportunity to not put emphasis on this storyline. One of the most blatant cases in my eyes being that at the end of Outcast, after spending an entire book floofing around and doing almost nothing, except making a mockery of indigenous cultures.
Best-selling Warrior Cats book of all time on release, by the way.
That is really, really sad. But at the end of it, the very last chapter, J-Paw comes up to his siblings and says, okay, after 3 books of knowing this, it's time. I need to tell my siblings about the prophecy so they actually know that it exists and we can move forward. And they cut it off there before he says anything. And then at the next book, Eclipse, we pick off with them already having had this conversation. We literally skip over the conversation where they learn about the prophecy in the series.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so that's what I think is going to happen to Frostpaw's injury.
I don't think so. I think Riverstar, like his input hinges too much on, you know, the entire beginning of that story because is it Frostpaw is who they start with, right? Or is it Sunbeam in terms of the order?
So
I don't think
they'll change it. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll definitely change it.
Okay.
They don't have a set order between books usually. It's more just like once you have a triad for the first 3 chapters of a book, that's probably going to be your order for the rest of the book.
Yeah, and maybe this is giving the story team that stepped in like in place of Vicky too much credit, but we're talking about like an entire like different team now. Like Vicky has stopped working on the books since then. So
yeah, but
they could make similar mistakes even if it's not the same people.
I just think that it's too big of a thing.
I'm choosing to believe they might. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say we also have like the thing that the people who are writing the 4th book are like, writing it before like the 3rd book's even written.
Yeah.
Right, and I think that's separate from the whole 3-book honeymoon period for the arcs that they've put out. You know?
Speaking of the 3-book honeymoon period, though, for the last 3-ish arcs, we have had a pattern where the first 3 books contain almost an entirely self-contained story with a couple loose ends at the end, and then the next 3 books are just like BS, whatever the heck, you know?
Right.
And so what's interesting is that this is setting up so that everything didn't conclude on the 3rd book, because like if this was the last arc or the arc before or Dawn of the Clans, this would have every mystery would have been solved, everything would have been revealed, and everything would have been restored, and then we would have had some second half subplot, and that hasn't happened yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another thing that made me like really like excited for this book. This time they like actually like they didn't end on anything conclusive. It was like actually building up towards the next book so that you actually have something to like look forward to. There's no Dark Tales dead. You know what I'm saying? There's no didn't book 3 of the Broken Code, that's when they fought and like Stemleaf died, right?
That's the one where they take the imposter out of power, and the imposter being in power was really carrying the series up until that point.
That is so true. And it's but this time, like, I didn't think there was like any like. I feel like they accurately like built up to the next book, outside of, you know, maybe placing the final Frostpaw chapter in the wrong order. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
that aside, I was pleasantly surprised with structurally how this first half of the arc has been lining up.
Oh yeah.
It's the best the new team has done so far, it just flat out, no matter how the rest of the arc goes. Even if it falls off after the 4th book, that'll be one book more than we've had previously. That's
true, yeah.
Although I wouldn't say this is like the perfect structure, because I think one thing they really messed up is that the 2nd book does not connect with the 1st and the 3rd book. I think the
really
first book, the 3rd book continues the 1st book.
Yeah.
Especially like with like Nightheart and stuff, because like Nightheart just kind of stays static in the 2nd book.
Yeah, the 2nd book really had like a self-contained story, and I feel like they only really did that to, obviously to pad out book space, you know.
Well, the other thing is, I didn't actually go to recheck this, but I think the 2nd book had a different ghostwriter from the 1st and the 3rd.
It does.
Okay, yeah, okay. I was pretty sure I remembered that, but then I didn't double check today, so yes, that is the case. And the different ghostwriters, while the editing may stay consistent because it's done by the same team, the minor details of characterization or any small foreshadowing that's been built up often doesn't get transferred between them.
That's true.
And I know the notes they're given for how to write out the books are extensive, and they don't have a ton of choice, but a lot of the building up for subtle clues or relationship twists is done in very small, subtle moments. And most of those are things that might not actually come across in the notes of the 1st book.
Right, right.
Which might explain why Sky was Sky.
Yeah,
Sorry. Speaking of authorial differences, Akira, you mentioned earlier that you thought that they just talked a whole bunch in this book, yeah?
Yeah.
This is actually a Cherith book.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's such a Kateism. I totally thought Kate.
Usually the cat's doing lots and lots of talking, lots and lots of conversations, as opposed to actions. is more of a Kate thing, but in this book, they must have had a lot of conversations they wanted to have because Cherith did a lot of dialogue more than usual.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Cherith started off with River. She's the one that originally wrote River. So I think that means that she's going to get the no, I'm thinking wrong.
It'll
numbers.
just be halvesies.
Yeah. My brain just went. But surprisingly, like I have always, and this is nothing to Cherith, I have always been more of a fan of the way that Kate writes the books, and that's just personal opinion right there. But Cherith, like, I feel like has been like surprisingly strong, and I would say that her books her books have actually been better than the one that we've seen from Kate this far, which is crazy for me to even wrap my mind around, because usually Cherith is the one that's like better with like battles and stuff, and I mean, like, Kate had to write the last battle in like The Last Hope, and she was talking about how she absolutely hated it, and you could tell.
Yeah.
you could
absolutely tell.
Yeah.
Every battle scene was skipped over in a paragraph. It was impressive.
Yeah, but this time Cherith is like actually like having to focus on these details with the characters, and it's really surprising, like, in a good way, in my opinion. And I don't know.
No, I totally agree, because having read a bunch of their books, having read all of their books, but critically analyzed author by author a lot of their books by now, I had been noticing that Cherith generally flourishes more when she gets to expand the plot, and has a lot of good ways of interweaving the different plot points and having things all happen at once without it feeling too overplotted. And that Kate tends to enjoy expanding out a bunch of character moments and giving random characters personalities or names that weren't entirely necessary but are fun for us as fans to dig into. I'm now thinking of Owlnose. I think Owlnose is Owlnose because of Kate.
Owlnose, number one defender right here.
Probably not exclusively, but I think Owlnose is Owlnose as we love him, pathetic, awful gay man, because of Kate.
Yeah, and we got nothing. We got nothing of Owlnose.
Never mind.
He can be who he wants to be.
Okay,
yeah.
But not with Splashtail, okay?
No. Owlnose deserves better than Splashtail.
Yeah, it's an interesting point that you brought that up, because we didn't even get anything from Owlnose like this entire book. Like, he was like mentioned like thing. Offhandedly,
Owlnose
in like a
is
couple.
Completely gone.
He was there in the
Splashtail
beginning.
Was completely gone in the last book. I think part of my conclusion about this is that this arc is partially making the characters' personalities and relationships the plot.
Yeah,
like,
I'm all for it.
Who the characters are and how they communicate with each other is a large part of what's driving the plot, and that's forcing Cherith into a place where she has to write the characters, and she's doing it really well. Right. Good on you, Cherith.
Right.
When the characters are the plot, you do great.
Yeah. Also, another thing, if we go off of this order for this arc of how, like, who the ghostwriters are, that would mean that Cherith isn't going to be writing Star or like the last book, right?
Whatever it is.
Yeah, right. So, personally, how do you think that she's going to handle building up to that last moment and having Kate be the one to end the series?
I am going to leave that particular prediction until I know how much of the finale is actually going to win until the finale.
We don't even know where this arc is going right now.
None of it.
No.
They could kill Tigerheart Star tomorrow, and Berryheart and Splashtail could be driven from the clan, and oops, now we have a new villain. It's the random rogue loner who's coming to destroy us all. Rose.
I hope not.
Everyone hates Rose. It turns out that she's Misty Star's old second cousin once removed, here to seek revenge on her killer.
I hope not. I hope not. It's the copium that's telling me, oh, that's not going to happen. But, here we are. We're at the third book. It's like rose-tinted glasses at this point.
It's a thing that
literally
could happen, not a thing I'm expecting to happen.
Yeah.
They've been doing well so far, and I'm choosing to give it the benefit of the doubt.
Yep.
They better not kill Tiger Star. Tiger Star is very good.
No cut there, guys.
Swear.
No cut there, guys. That didn't happen.
Tiger Star is flippin' fantastic.
Yeah. I saw this on Twitter, and another interesting point to be brought up in relation to Tiger Star at the moment. With Bramble Star retiring, people thought that like the deposition rule, right, where they could vote out leaders, was going to be used on him. And I saw somebody say that because Bramble Star is like stepping down from power now, that maybe like a part of the plot would be Shadow Clan trying to kick Tiger Star out, and that Barry Hart would be like the kind of the spearhead of that.
I can't begin to explain on how many levels that would be bad.
Yeah.
So the first one is that Tiger Heart is a prophesized holy leader of Shadow Clan. He brought Shadow Clan back together.
From the brink of death.
Half of the people in Shadow Clan are his children at this point. I mean, not half, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
A large portion of Shadow Clan are his children, people that he legitimately went out into the wild and brought back into Shadow Clan. So, like, to get the majority rule in Shadow Clan to cast out Tigerheart, there would have to be some serious mischaracterization of almost all of his clanmates. Secondarily, I don't think that. Okay. It's not like Hairstar has a defined personality, and he is kind of like a wimpy loser who will go along with anything. From speculation, because we don't actually know who he is. But like, I think generally they don't want to make Tiger Star stop being leader of Shadow Clan. They just want to make Tiger Star stop being leader of River Clan. Yeah,
you just gave me like a big brain theory idea actually going off of that. Okay, just to add to that that Tiger Star being deposed thing, if that were to happen, I don't think he would actually be like thrown out as leader. I think that they would try, or that Barry Hart would try to have that to happen to capitalize off of that rule, but I don't think that it wouldn't necessarily happen if it even does.
I don't even know if it's in Barry Hart's character to want to kick out Tiger Star.
Well,
she's hardcore traditionalist. She's hardcore anti-code change.
Yeah,
and she is.
That's one of the things I think she's actually telling.
And whenever they ask, she always says like she's gonna stand by Tiger Star. She like still
she
fights
loves
on his
Shadow
side.
Clan. She will stand by Tiger Star and follow his orders. She just wants them out of River Clan because Shadow Clan should be Shadow Clan and nothing else.
That's true. Okay, that brings me to like my actual theory though. Okay, I just got this. I just like it came to me in my head. It just got beamed down from the heavens. If the young warrior that Frostpaw goes with happens to be Splashtail, right? And if coincidentally Splashtail somehow ends up actually becoming leader, right? If they were to use that like new rule, I feel like that would be like maybe the plot of Star would be them like getting rid of Splashtail. Yeah.
Although I feel like one of the main parts of the rule is that they take the lives back from the leader, but like Splash, he would never have gotten the lives in the first place. I don't think.
Well, this is under the presumption that like the what is it? The quest was like the thing that Riverstar was trying to show. Frostpaw was like misinterpreted, and like Splashtail gaslights her, and this is like his way of like becoming leader or whatever, and whatnot. But this is just purely hypothetical. If he does end up becoming leader,
part of the plot could be about taking him
down.
Yeah.
Yep.
I still think, just as a concept, it is silly to believe that the deposing rule would ever work.
Right. Yeah, because it's incredibly strict.
Ever had in all of Warriors history, the kitten murderers, I tried to kill my leader, I tried to kill you. Yep. I brought in an outsider and started killing everyone to take over the clans. The worst leaders still had a significant following.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you need 3/4 of the clan.
And it also says that they like have to like bow down before Star Clan to like have their lives zapped out of them, but like they wouldn't like go to the moon pool for that if they just run away.
This wouldn't work. There's no scenario where this rule would actually help to take down a bad leader. It
Yeah.
needs to be changed.
They don't have. It's like there's not like a legal system in where.
Oh yeah,
No,
yeah,
there's no legal system at all. Most of these rules don't have justifications attached to them at all. It's literally just, well, eating prey instead of giving it to the elders and killing someone are both against the code.
Yeah,
what's the punishment? Well, I guess you'll have to ask your leader.
I just think it's copium that the rule is even going to be used at all. I think they're going to forget that it has like a majority clan like agreement thing, and they're just going to like it's going to be used in the case of Bramblestar or whatever, and that's going to be like.
I think I think
of it in the books.
A big thorn in the nest of this theory is that this rule was introduced while they were restructuring the code in the first book and hasn't been really thought about or referenced whatsoever. And if they were actually going to do anything with it, they would think
they would be
it.
referencing more. Yeah.
Absolutely, that's why I don't really think any of those theories really have like any foundational like benefit. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no
rules that they've actually put any mind to are the can I leave my clan to be with my mate ones.
Yeah, which they've already changed like multiple times, so if they were to ever revisit that, they'd probably have some sort of restructuring of the rules again because Finchlight said something at a gathering. So
hey, what do you think of the 3 trial system?
I think it's good. I think it's interesting. I just hope that it isn't. Yeah, I just hope that it isn't like overused in like the following books. So
I think it's good for drama.
I think it was a major like hashtag plot convenience moment when when Barry Hart was suddenly like in charge of deciding the trials.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I also think Tiger Star would totally do that because he's currently delegating everything. He really, really trusts his clanmates. That's a big part of what's been going on here. He trusts his clanmates wholeheartedly. He thinks they can do anything. He wants to protect them with all his life. And he's going into RiverClan partly as a protection for his clanmates. He's putting Barry Hart in charge because he trusts her and wants her to make sure that ShadowClan is only for cats they can trust. I totally believe he would go along with this. And Barry Hart would definitely be the one to ask.
Sorry. I think that there's definitely like I don't think that Tiger Star is so dense that he doesn't know that Barry Hart, who has been very, very open about this, doesn't have huge problems with the code changes, especially the xenophobic relationship business.
Oh yeah.
But I think that putting her in charge of the trials, and obviously we don't actually know inside his head or anything, but I think putting her in charge of the trials is just further proof in how much he believes in his ideas. Like he thinks that even if Barry Hart is making these incredibly difficult challenges, that the warriors who want to be in ShadowClan are going to pass them because I think it would definitely be a belief in them,
Yeah.
It would be a belief in that this is right. And even if Barry Hart makes it really hard, these people do want to be in ShadowClan and they are going to do their best. And I think that's probably like leading into why if someone were to fail a challenge, he's accepting of them leaving as well.
Right. And I think that really aligns with him as a character. I mean, that's something that they like specifically like mention in like the gathering scene. I think is that he's hard-headed. They really do a good job of characterizing him.
He's hard-headed in a very specific way.
Right. And while Barry Hart being in charge of the tasks was a major plot convenience, I could totally forgive that with the way that she like ran with it, and I feel like she really flourished in that role for the story.
Oh yeah, I could even argue that it would make sense to put Barry Hart in that role from a certain perspective because if she comes up with the trials, she's more likely to be accepting of the cats who do get in. Speaking of Moon, hey, do you want to talk about Fringe Whisker?
I'm trying so hard not to swear. I love Fringe Whisker. It's like this obviously internally she would be discouraged by all of the pressure that she's constantly being put under, but she has proved over and over again within the last book, within this book, every single time she shows up, that she will do anything and is willing to go through anything, not because she's a pushover, but because she is in fact trying as hard as she can to prove this PTA meeting wrong, you know? And like that's I love that. I love her. It's just like she's and I was so relieved that she succeeded and didn't die. I was worried she was going to die.
Yeah.
I mean, Barry Hart literally tried to kill her.
Yeah, Barry
Yeah.
Hart, obviously a
By
little
snake
extremist
bite,
there.
Hey, can you die? No. I refuse. My willpower is too strong.
She really expected that snake to be there.
Fringe Whisker kind of Mulan'd herself through those 3 trials, I want to
Oh
say.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
That was fantastic.
Especially the first one. The first one.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that she would have
Creative
known.
thinking and determination combined.
Right.
Fantastic.
I mean, the
And-
tunnels, she just like sort of just took all day.
Yeah.
Yes, but that was bravery.
Yeah, she
Barry
did.
Hart probably just felt a little too bad to call it. It's just like, no, I'll just let it go.
I'd start crying if I smelled onion for that long. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I seriously would. Nobody remembers that they covered themselves
Yes,
in
I
onion.
remember.
I remember the onion, yes.
Barry Hart can't do anything about Fringe Whisker now. I wish there was a little bit more like afterwards, like with that situation specifically, because I mean, obviously she had to move on to dealing with Nightheart, and maybe she's just relieved she got rid of him for the time being. But
One of your kids is still embroiled in a relationship in your clan, and you still hate her.
Yeah.
that's going to be an interesting gathering scene next
Oh,
book.
God.
Yeah, I love how she was so self-satisfied that she didn't even like take the time to like really even consider whether or not Nightheart failed on purpose. You know, she just it literally says like
No,
right
just,
after.
he failed. Great.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
right
go.
after he failed. Like I think it says like specifically that Barry Hart like smiled at him smugly or like looked at him smugly, and that is so funny, dude. Like I can't. It's such a Barry Hart moment to do that.
And
Let's
Barry
go,
Hart,
Barb.
she's so bold. She like just tells Nightheart, she's like, "Yeah, I hate you."
Yeah, let's go, Barb.
It's like
I
a pulls him
gosh, I
aside for a
love-
conversation.
Yeah.
She's like,
I
"Get in my
love
corner.
every
I just want to like,
villain in this arc.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh.
I want to give you like an inverse pep talk."
It has been so long since I've actually liked a warrior's antagonist.
That's because you hate fighting and murder and killing.
I mean, I do, but it's because they're boring, not because they're evil.
I don't think that. I think so far the new team has done well with antagonists, other than Clear Sky. Like
I think they've
I
done
like
well, but these are the sort of antagonists that I legitimately enjoy for more than just a structural purpose in the story.
absolutely.
I
Yeah,
like watching them. I like them having more time on screen because I get to experience them as characters.
yeah.
I want to see all 3 of you have deep conversations with our heroes about how you are fundamentally wrong. And you could
Right.
change or you could double down. I would like it either way.
Right. Yeah. I kind of I appreciated Darktail in that aspect, but like that's only because like Hawkwing's journey. I really feel like without that, Darktail would not have
Journey
been.
is a different discussion than Darktail and A Vision of Shadows.
Yeah, yeah. I really feel like without Hawkwing's journey, I don't think I would think that Darktail was as strong as a character as he is in my
I
mind.
don't think he's as strong as a character.
Okay, we'll
Anyway.
agree to disagree. So
I'm just gonna stop taking every shot at A Vision of Shadows I possibly can. We'll wait for another day. How about Blazefire and Light Leap?
there's something.
They sure are
They
there.
forgot about them.
Yeah.
I forgot. That actually kind of so. I put this particular topic here for one specific reason, and it's because the complete lack of Light Leap and Blazefire as anything other than, oh, they're cats. I sure
Yeah.
do know them, says Sunbeam, is emblematic of the current problem with Sunbeam's quote unquote arc.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Sunbeam was like she's kind of been all over the place. You know,
She's
as
been
much
nerfed.
as I like her, like I really feel like it not as much consistent character development here. Especially like they literally make her like change on a dime in like so many of the chapters, and it makes absolutely no sense. Especially with the stuff with like Barry Hart and like Nightheart, she goes from hating his guts and agreeing with her mom, which would have been so cool, by the way, if she like actually like ended up going like total villain on
Oh my
Neidhart. That
gosh,
would have been so
the
good.
one guy I finally opened my heart up to turned his back on me.
Yes!
Decided to go back
The
to
two
Clan
guy.
Hades.
It totally
The
made
second
sense
guy
too.
that I opened my heart to, as finally when I was trying to open my heart, he abandoned me and went back to the clanmates he openly hates.
Right, it totally
hate
makes
you.
sense. It totally makes sense. And then they drop it immediately.
Actually, no, he's my one true love.
Right.
Blazefire was just a silly crush, but
Right.
this is
Yeah.
true.
Hey.
Come to me, Neidhart, wait!
Yeah.
I'm not
They
gonna
really,
say
It's Bristlefrost. It's literally
It's Bristlefrost.
They're
It's Bristlefrost,
her
yeah.
so hard, and I want them to stop.
Well, I mean, she's literally. They took a complex character and then they Finleaped her.
that's so true.
They frosted her.
I'm not gonna
They
say
did exactly the same time. They had 2 books of a great character who had the potential to be complex and align with the villains, and then in the 3rd book they had the Tom who had been crushing on them get a reciprocated love, and have the she-cat lose all of her personality and relationships so she can prance after
Yep.
her favorite Tom.
Yeah.
Stop.
yeah. Hey, I'm not gonna say that I don't think that Sunbeam being in ThunderClan is gonna be interesting for the next book, but I just think it was
Sunbeam
handled
with Neidhart is not going to be interesting.
right, and it was just handled well. If she is even with Neidhart, if Neidhart leaves, that would
Actually, yeah, please make it 2 young warriors. Actually, Frostpaw, take along Splashtail and Neidhart and see what happens.
personally, I think
Frostpaw, take all of the boys away, thank you.
I think Splashtail is more of a reach.
Star. Take Neidhart and Splashtail and every Tom in the clans except for Tiger Heartstar. You can leave him. He's our, and Owlnose. Owlnose can also stay.
Yeah,
No, take Owlnose.
Take Owlnose. I want Owlnose.
Yeah, I personally, I think Splashtail is more of a reach than Neidhart in terms of the
We'll
whole
see.
plot. Yeah, we just have no idea.
But yeah, I hate how they Neidhart has this whole emotional arc about oh, it's all about family, and then it's
Yeah,
and Sunbeam comes in, it's Sunbeam's just suddenly
Actually, my
Sunbeam
family
forgets she
doesn't
has a
matter.
family. I hate family. I hate Lightleap, who's trying her best to open herself up to me.
Well, that's the
I
thing. This book specifically has her declare that she has resolved her feelings with Lightleap. For the record, the reason she has resolved her feelings with Lightleap is because she found another Tom, so now they don't have to be jealous because they each have their own boyfriend. Whee! But she resolved that problem, and she hasn't developed any other issues in ShadowClan that she didn't already have. It's basically just Berryheart.
I will argue that from an unemotional perspective, Sunbeam is still being kind of weird to Lightleap. And
Yes.
Lightleap is not being overly Lightleap is not being overly reckless like she was before, and Lightleap isn't causing
somehow.
let's ignore any implication of that. I do think that the way that Sunbeam was treating Lightleap is still very curt and kind of rude, even in this book. I think that Sunbeam's is Tiger Star putting on us on patrols together and pairing us up together because he thinks we need to make up, or he thinks we're still friends or something, and it's yeah, you should still be friends. There's no reason for you to
that
continue
seemed to only
treating
be in
Lightleap
the
weirdly.
first half of the book from what I was seeing. The second half they get paired up and she doesn't seem to mind as much.
They get paired up and she runs away.
I mean, yeah.
What? Okay,
But she doesn't run away because of Lightleap. She runs away because, oh, Neidhart, my precious.
hold on.
Sure.
When is this?
Which one?
Okay.
Running away,
Okay, I'm talking about her leaving for ThunderClan. So Tiger Star says
was fine.
Tiger Star says the cats I have chosen for this task are Flex, Foot, Whirlpels, Lightleap, and Sunbeam. And then it says her leader cast a sympathetic glance at Sunbeam as he named her. Sunbeam wondered if he had given her this task on purpose to take her mind off of Neidhart. Maybe Lightleap had even suggested it. And then it talks about how Lightleap is excited or whatever, and it's just
But the problem is no longer with Lightleap. She's fine being with Lightleap. The reason that she's being put on this patrol is not to make up with Lightleap, but to get over Neidhart.
Yeah, but Lightleap is still trying to be a friend, trying to pair up with her, trying to be Like, obviously, Tiger Star is thinking, I'm going to put these two best friends together, and they're going to make each other feel better, or whatever the heck, And lately just gets abandoned.
Lightly.
No,
There's so much I really, really don't like about Sunbeam following Neidhart to Shadow Clan. And I saw this coming from literally book 1 when they had their first interaction at the Gathering, but I had hoped it wouldn't go this way.
Yeah.
I have an entire video that I'm going to be releasing soon on Neidhart and Sunbeam, and how everything was good until the last chapter where they destroyed it.
Hey, if it's this weekend, that would have been a week ago at this point, whenever this is coming out.
It'll be before this. It'll be available now. Go check out my channel.
Wow, Akira, that was such a good video.
That was such a
I
good
really
video,
enjoyed
Akira.
watching
we loved
it, Akira.
watching it. I sure clicked like on that video, like all of you in the comments should do. You can find Akira's video linked. You can find Akira's channel linked in the description. It'll be one of the top videos there. Click on it, give it a like, and tell her you were sent by me.
Yep, and
do not tell her you were sent by me.
Yep, and if Sunny remembers it, she'll put the video in the card right now at this random part in the podcast.
Absolutely, this will go great. I'll find the exact part in this multi-hour video, the iCard. Yes.
Anyone else here from Sunnyfall?
Yeah, I'm here from Sunnyfall, guys.
If you do go to Akira's video, make sure to leave a nice positive comment about the content and not just that Sunnyfall sent you.
Yeah, comment Miss Sunny gave me homework if you can. if you would.
Yeah, but basically the gist of it is that it's really interesting for like Neidhart to like basically he like has to make this sacrifice in order to like do what was right and like not abandon his family. And I think that's like he deserves to like have consequences for like leading Sunbeam on. He deserves to like lose that connection. He deserves, because he like basically broke Sunbeam's heart, but then like Sunbeam coming back ruins that because there's no consequences for Neidhart betraying Sunbeam.
Yep.
Regardless of if or not he likes her, he imposed himself on her life, took up a large portion of her time and her feelings, and definitely like led her into believing that this was something that could work and something that could be her life from now on. And then at the last minute, without even discussing it with her, pulls out and leaves. Yeah. And she settles this by going, oh, well, I'm a female character in Warrior Cats anyways, and my loyalty doesn't mean anything, and my beliefs don't mean anything, so I'm just going to go be a love interest in ThunderClan.
I heard this from you, Moon, and I paraphrased it on Twitter. But with Frostpaw, Sunbeam, and Bristlefrost versus Rootspring and Neidhart, it is becoming slightly disturbing that young love for she-cats is consistently identified as a silly crush that can be discounted. And that young love for Toms is actually totally correct, a very serious choice, and that the she-cat will love them back unconditionally.
Yeah. I went off about this in Discord somewhere, and it's definitely bothersome to me that the female characters will have crushes on more mature, more experienced warrior cats. In the post-new team world, the female characters will have crushes on warriors, and the book will correctly say something along the lines of, yeah, but he's an adult with his own life and he's not interested in a little kid, right? But then the male characters, who are almost in the exact same position as the female characters who were crushing on the older, more mature warrior, get rewarded for this behavior. And it's especially frustrating to me when it comes to Neidhart, because Neidhart is a character who in every single angle of his life has problems with his female role models and his mothers. And that then manifesting in him being rewarded with a relationship that includes a more mature, older woman doing whatever the heck he wants, it just feels absolutely nasty to me.
Right, and like it's we saw this literally last arc too, so it's not like it's not like this is just coming out of nowhere. It's like a pattern. you know?
Legitimately, the first time that I got the muscles tensing in Eek, this is exactly the same, is in one of the later chapters when Sunbeam has just about officially committed to Nightheart as a mate, and is projecting a potential life with him in ShadowClan. She talks to Lightleap about where their lives have gone now, and thinks to herself that Blazefire was just a silly young crush, and that Nightheart is her true love. Those aren't her exact words, but crush is the exact word she uses, and she frames it as being silly.
And it's almost identical to what Bristlecross
It tensed up my muscles because it was exactly the same thing that Bristlefrost said about Stemleaf, and both of you cared about these cats. Sunbeam, you were actually engaged to this man. It was not a silly crush. You were both adults.
It's weird. It actually makes you long for the days of Twig Branch and Violet Shine's love interests.
Well, even in the case of Violet Shine, it was very similar.
She wasn't made a fool of.
She wasn't made a fool of. She just fell in love with an older man who I don't know how that guy shows up.
Never mind.
I don't know how that guy shows up.
Say,
he's just weird.
Did she have any?
Hey there, little lady. Do you want to get married later?
Stop.
Oh my goodness.
Stop.
You're the first man who has ever treated me nicely and not tried to kill one of my friends.
Please,
of course I'll marry you.
Yeah, Needletail, what is it? They weren't even looking for Tree whenever they found him either. The Needletail just showed up in the middle of the night.
Clan, and Needletail just pointed out Tree and said, hey, this one. Get this one. And Violet Shine said, oh, Needletail wants me to mate with this man? Sounds good. I believe in everything Needletail tells me.
Yeah.
The highlighter yellow man in the woods, go talk to him.
Yeah. Actually, it was Frecklewish that they were going to look for at that point, by the way. I was just talking about this earlier. Yeah. I was literally talking about this earlier with somebody else, so.
Yeah.
I promise you she's alive and not dead right now.
But yeah, Twig Branch, I think, her relationship with Finleap is the only time where they treat the male character as being more silly and stupid.
Right.
They have still held up Twig Branch's wish to not have pets.
Mm-hmm. And I think
currently their best saving grace right now, where a female set a boundary, and it has been followed for 2 arcs. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, she didn't say she never wanted kids. Yeah. She said just later. And
later when she decides she's ready.
I think it's been long enough that it wouldn't be going back on the promise if they had kids.
If they get kids at this point, fine. They have waited. Good on you.
Honestly, I feel like her and Violet Shine, out of all of the previous antagonists, are the ones that
you mean protagonist.
Protagonist. You know what I meant.
I know
protagonist,
it's hard to tell. Violet Shine is very bad at being a protagonist.
Yeah, but I feel like out of all the previous protagonists, they're the ones that got zapped out of the story the most. Twig Branch, bro, she talked once this book, and Violet Shine never. Obviously,
these cats don't exist.
Yeah, they're yeah.
I'd say
Violet
that
Shine became mom.
I'd say that Bristlefrost is the one who was zapped out of the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Akira. Okay, Akira.
Bristlefrost has justification for being zapped out of the story. The others are still there and could be doing anything, and they're not.
Hey, at this point, give Finleap a novella if they still want to do those or something.
Novellas are done, at least for
novellas.
I know.
The foreseeable future.
I know.
I think they can't sell them.
I would give novellas to 100 different cats before Finleap.
Hey, start putting the novellas at the end of a book or something then. I don't care.
Just the bonus Barnes & Noble exclusive chapters. Bring those back.
Why not? Why not? Why would they... Well, it's completely stupid for them to do that, but I'm just saying... if they want to put them somewhere, hey, I got ideas, hit me up. I got my email.
They're probably just going all in on the Super Editions thing.
Oh, yeah.
Then it'll be... easy enough to sell as large chunks.
Yeah,
they have more time to get into an actual story and cast, and they can make stories that are more fulfilling to people.
Yeah, and a thing about the novellas is they only sell them as paperbacks instead of hardcovers, so there's even less profit to be made there, even if it does sell well.
Right.
I didn't even know they sold them as paperbacks.
Yeah, novellas
Really?
only go paperbacks.
Yeah, they've always been paperbacks.
I got into the novellas when they were sold as single ebook exclusives, one at a time. And since then, I've only ever bought novellas on ebook. So I didn't even know that they sold them.
Yeah, they have like the first 4 of them like in like a box, and then the rest of them you just had to buy.
Yeah, because they ended up re-releasing them as
a collection,
bounded book collections.
Yeah,
because I think like
and I said, I'm not buying that. I already have you individually. Goodbye.
Yeah. I don't think them not writing novellas has really paid off for them so far, though, because One Star's book, you know.
I think it would pay off for them if they wrote a good super edition.
Yeah.
Cross your fingers for River Star's Home.
Yeah.
Just One Star's Confession, though.
Hey, Moon was talking about this last night. Whenever River Star's Home comes out, gonna eat that up like a starving bookworm. That is exactly what she said, word for word. Like a starving bookworm. I totally agree with her.
Well, it's not a retelling of the first arc, and that's all I want.
Yes, it's completely like an original story.
To even be a retelling of Dawn of the Clans, like that would be really difficult. River Star was barely involved in anything.
Oh yeah,
I think the first battle after it finished and said, "Whoa,
yeah,
guess something happened here. You want to make me a leader?"
Yeah, the blurb says that it takes place after he receives his leader name. I'm pretty sure.
Fantastic.
So yeah, it's gonna be like a completely like original
Mothlight's Vision timeline.
No, like after. I think it. I don't know if it's after Thunderstar's novella and
I don't know
Shadow
where it's
Stars
happening in the Tall Star, Shadow Star, Mothlight timeline.
No,
Tall Star, Thunderstar, Shadow Star, Mothlight timeline.
Yeah.
But somewhere in that region.
Okay, I just read these books, but Mothlight's Vision is when they all get their leader names, so it has to be after Mothlight's Vision.
Yeah.
So.
Or at least part of it has to be. Crooked Star's Promise didn't start off with Crooked Star.
Yeah, but they said that, what is it, the blurb, some cat from the Cats of the Park shows up to him when he's River Star, and then brings him back. Technically,
that only means that it partially takes place then.
That's true. I mean, they could do a Gray Stripe thing or something, you know?
Exactly. Or they could just skip 20 years. Here's my Let's skip.
They already had his kitten books in a bonus scene.
It's true. They could re-release the Barnes and Noble exclusive chapter.
The first 3 chapters of the book just be reprinted those exact words.
Hey, I'm gonna eat it up.
I wouldn't put it past them. I hope they don't do that, but I wouldn't put it past them.
Hey, I'm gonna eat it up because I'm just glad that they're actually deciding to write.
Either way. Let's be clear about that.
Yeah,
I'm happy either way.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're like actually like deciding to write a super edition based off of something that we like literally know like absolutely nothing about, like, and they're like actually giving us, some sort of clarity there and further explanation. It's probably the closest thing that we're gonna get to like an original super edition story with this team,
Force them.
This team has given us original super edition stories. They've just been woven into the general plots of the book, like Hawkwing's Journey, Tigerheart's Shadow.
Right.
I actually really, I really like the present chapters in Gray Stripe's Vow.
Oh yeah, so do I.
Past is kind of a mess.
Past is bad.
Is a bit of a mess, and I think it should have been structured differently. But
I
think that whenever they're doing something that has absolutely nothing to do with the first or second arcs, they do a pretty good super edition.
Yeah. That's so true. That is literally so true.
The more you watch the first and second arcs right now, the deeper into who you get. Yeah. They even went as far as to literally run yourself into a million knots.
Yeah. They resurrect Volpaw, give him a warrior name randomly on like the website, the family tree, and like
you know, graphic novel now.
Night Star, you poor thing. It's just that we can't give you 9 lives because Broken Star still has all his. We have absolutely no way to take a leader rank away from a leader.
Man, why did they...
It's just not in our power as Star Clan.
Why did they make him...
I understand Star Clan, says Night Star.
God.
This makes perfect sense to me. Star Clan is not completely all-powerful, and they don't have the power to do this. Anyway, goodbye. Go back to your modern world.
Why did they make him Yellowfang's secret Nightheart and not Nightheart from like the actual arcs? Like I Night, you know what I meant.
Because
God,
they had
not
more story
Nightheart.
to copy from Yellowfang's secret.
Yeah, you
Like,
guys know what I meant. I called him Nightheart.
Yeah,
It's
they
been a
made him
long day.
It's just a long time ago. Yeah, but they made Nightstar so like baby, like oh, I'm so sad. Woe is me.
First Dark Nightstar was actually really aggressive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was a jerk. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry about the book we're actually discussing. We've talked about it from Sunbeam's side. How are you liking Nightheart's character arc in this book from his own perspective? That and his reconciliation with his family, sort of.
I mean, like, I think it's good, but I don't think that, it was, like, all of it was necessarily handled in the best way.
There's certain moments that feel weird, like how, like, Sparkpelt's immediately like, oh, it's all I ever wanted.
Yeah,
I forgive you, Nightheart, even though, like, that's not how she acted in the first book at all.
Oh, yeah, no.
But my biggest problems are, like, in concept, I like it. I like that this is the place they're taking his resolution instead of other places they could have taken it. And I like that he has a resolution with his family that involves recognizing that his family did in fact like him and that he was misinterpreting some things. But one, it was pretty rushed. I think his character arc could have done with some more time to transition, rather than just getting to be such a nicer person now that he's in Shadow Clan, and with enough time being a nicer person, he gets to recognize that being a bad person is bad. And two, it's not fully congruent with the first two books' portrayals of their relationships with ThunderClan, and that makes the resolution feel a little off, because it feels like you're resolving something else than what actually existed.
Yeah, they really aged up Nightheart in this book, and I like that was probably the point, like, by the end, but like even during like the trials and all that, it felt like they were going with the Nightheart that was.
I am a clever and creative thinker now who is able to calmly work through my problems.
Yeah, the Nightheart that went on the journey.
Told me to.
Yeah. It's like they went with the Nightheart that went on the journey, and not the total brat, that they just completely forgot like existed, outside of the fact in his the Sunbeam chapter, whenever she comes home and like Nightheart's like confessing like, oh, we're like the best couple ever, at the beginning of the book. But yeah,
they definitely light switched him.
Oh yeah,
I don't disagree there. They light switched him, but they did attempt, and this is more than I expected, is why I'm giving them credit. They attempt to explain as to why he light switched, which was that he wasn't trying hard enough or something. And I don't really I don't really care what their explanation is. I don't really care why he got better, but because it was so instant, it was like basically the second he gets to Shadow Clan, he's just competent now when he wasn't competent before. And there's no there's no show or struggle as to how he's growing. But I think that something to be considered is the fact that we have never, ever seen character growth in that sense from Warrior Cats. We just haven't.
Oh yeah. I think
there's no training montage.
There's no training montage, but there's also no there's no point of realization. There's no I need to become better. I need to do better. I need to do things differently. That doesn't happen until after he's done it in this book.
Right.
And that's that. And I don't want to say that's a Nightheart problem, because it's not a Nightheart problem. It's a Warrior Cats problem, and it's always been a Warrior Cats problem. But when it comes to his mother, his relationship with Sparkpelt, I think a lot of the problem with the Nightheart Sparkpelt relationship in particular here, like assuming that this was always going to be the conclusion, was that he was going to come back and realize that he was thinking too badly of his mother and that he was misinterpreting her anger. I think that if we're to take that as what was always intended to be the conclusion of the way Sparkpelt was written, that I think people have just been reading too much into Sparkpelt. And just like Nightheart. Obviously, Nightheart has been reading too much into Sparkpelt, believably so. But I think if we divorce ourselves from the fact that what she's getting upset about is her son's changing identity, right? If we take a few steps back from that, because the Warrior Cats team was not thinking, oh, Sparkpelt is discouraging him from changing his identity. The Warrior Cats team was thinking he is rejecting clan tradition, right? And so if we put Sparkpelt's anger towards what Nightheart has rejected in more of a, he has not consulted with anyone, he has not told anyone he is specifically unhappy with this, like she is being kind of like being put in a position where her son is one of very, very few, including I guess Molepaw, cats to ever make a disturbance at his own naming ceremony.
Right.
That's definitely something that I can see her being pissed about in some reasonable extension.
Yeah. I think it's passable because of what they do with him, you know. But like, there's no meaningful progression there at all. Like what you said, like the trials and all of that. It's not like that was the obstacle that he had to overcome, you know, in a character sense. That's just what he had to do to be able to like join Shadow Clan, and like ultimately at the end of the book he just forgets about that entirely, you know, in favor of going back to Thunder Clan. But
he chooses he doesn't need it,
right,
and runs home.
Right, and it's interesting to see them take this evolution with the character, but I don't like, in a sense, I don't think that it's necessarily as earned as the book portrays it, you know. So
it's not earned.
No, not at all.
I don't think it ever was gonna be.
Yeah.
Basically, it could be done better, but I'm happy it was done at all.
Yeah. Hey,
I would rather this than them turn off his brat personality and just never acknowledge it,
right.
Or him stay a brat forever and just hate the world and nothing changes.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, I liked it, and I'm interested to see where they're gonna take Nightheart now, even if, you know, that I bring it up like every single podcast we do, but that article where they were talking about, oh, he's gonna be like a foil to Firestar or whatever. See how he becomes more akin to Firestar than you know it. Wait for the next books or whatever. Like, you know, that article, which was probably damage control because everybody hated Nightheart in the first book, except for a couple people. But sorry to Flamepaw enjoyers, early Nightheart lovers. But I lost my train of thought.
I don't think that those articles are written by.
No, they're not. They're not. They're not. They're not.
And I do think they're damage control.
Yeah, they're 100% damage control. I even like I like, if I'm forgetting what the point that I'm even bringing it up for, like in the middle of talking, like, then clearly there's no substance there. There's no substance at all. But yeah, hey, Nightheart, thumbs up from me. Earned, no. Passable,
any last
sure.
For Nightheart specifically?
No, I don't think I'm good.
Sorry, did you have something to say, Kira?
I'm thinking. You go.
Okay, so I guess I am a little bit. If I'm gonna be mad about one thing about the Sparkpelt resolution, because like I am glad that Nightheart largely identified that he was the problem in their relationship. I'm glad that Nightheart largely realized he was misinterpreting his family's feelings. I'm happy for all of that. I am mad that that Sparkpelt needs to specifically apologize for not being there when he was younger, when it was out of her control. But I guess she technically wasn't there when he was younger because she got exiled by the imposter. But if what she's apologizing for is her depression after giving birth, then
that was a week long.
Yeah, then that can go in a hole somewhere.
But the entirety of this arc has treated it the same way. Like, across the different writers, across the different books, they've assumed that Sparkpelt did somehow abandon him in his youth, or that she was away for longer periods than she actually was.
Yeah.
Which is wrong. It's flat out incorrect, but it's consistent for the arc.
Hey, I mean, maybe the authors are just like us and they don't want to reread Squirrelflight's Hope.
But it's your book. You need to reread it.
Hey, I mean, if I were them, I
You're going
wouldn't.
to
I wouldn't want to
reference a
reread
book.
it.
You need to reread this book.
Squirrelflight's Hope is a hard book to read. Like,
Yes.
imagine they're reading it and they're just like, "Oh God, we wrote this."
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Okay, hire an intern who you pay to read your books and fact check for things.
Oof. Intern.
I mean, either way, like I do think, you know, actually having like a hired person would be good, but at the same time, like it's easy to worry about fan biases, you know, because like if somebody who was brought into this series was already a fan of it, and is being put
They
in a
probably
position
have
of
very
this,
specific opinions about a lot of the characters.
Yeah,
that's
things
true.
that should or shouldn't be.
Sorry.
Yeah, they don't need to hire a fan. They just need to hire their own like writers to
Yeah,
hire their own people within their like circle.
Yeah, the last time
Somebody
that
who doesn't
happened.
already care.
Yeah, the last
Just
time that
specifically
happened.
pay one of your editors to work on this instead of plotting on a book.
You know,
Akira,
yeah.
you had a point to add?
Yeah, I thought something that was kind of just cute in this book was Bayshine. He's just such a sweet guy. I want to give him a high five.
Yeah,
baby.
Bayshine for all of like 4 pages.
Yeah, like he doesn't show up at all in book 1, I don't think. But then in like book 2, he's like super sad that like Nightheart leaves, and then like in this book, he's like super happy that
Early,
Nightheart comes back.
We got
Early in
exactly
book one, he's there a
one
lot.
chapter, one early chapter that was in the preview of book 1 had him feature prominently when he was still Baypaw, bestest buddy, and then we did not see him again.
He's a very, very
Sad.
good close friend to Nightheart.
Yeah, and I like that
Allegedly.
they're trying. Maybe he's not like the best developed, but they're trying to show like, oh, it's not just his family. He can have like friends too.
Right. I appreciate his presence in the narrative.
Also sort of his family.
Oh, is he?
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
Bayshine's
everybody
very also his family.
everybody in ThunderClan is related at this
Oh.
point. We all know
No
that.
one in Nightheart's generation isn't his family.
Yeah.
But they don't like acknowledge it though. Do
No.
they?
Except they sort of do. They mentioned that this was his foster brother and that they grew up together because Sparkpelt abandoned him.
Oh, through
yeah.
through Swirl, whatever her
Swirl
name is.
Strike.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously Bayshine is Leaf Pool line and therefore not valid, but but they're both related and they're foster brothers, kind of.
Yeah.
They were sort of foster brothers. According to this book's canon, they were foster brothers, even though they were only nursed for like a month together.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, according to this arc, they were nursed so much together because Sparkpelt abandoned them. So they're foster brothers. They're foster brothers, is what they're treating them to be. But I don't count that against it because there's so few relationships in ThunderClan that aren't Nightheart's family somehow or another.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's still his friend.
Yeah, it's still very much it's friend more than it's family. Finchlight is his sister, but you know the relation sneaks in sometimes. Speaking of, now that we're getting over to ThunderClan,
Yes.
I've held
been
off
waiting.
on allowing
I've been
us
waiting
to
for
discuss
this.
this one for a while because as soon as I bring it up, I know there will be an implosion from someone.
I've been waiting for this.
But Bramblestar stepping down has left open the possibility of Squirrelflight, in fact, making it to the moon pool and taking up the leadership of ThunderClan. What are your thoughts?
Yes.
He's gonna die.
Yeah. No, you're wrong. No, wrong. Everybody that says she's gonna die is wrong.
See, this is why I left it.
They're
till the
gonna kill
end.
her. They're
They're not.
They're going to use this as an excuse to kill her, and then Bramblestar's
No.
going to be even more shaken, and ThunderClan is going to be in like absolute turmoil
No.
because not only is Squirrelflight dead for Bramblestar's man pain now, Bramblestar is still a complete PTSD mess. So they're going to have a dead Squirrelflight, a Bramblestar who's
No.
like, well, now I don't know what to do with myself, and a ThunderClan that just spirals into hell.
I haven't made up
But-
my mind on this argument yet, but I did think it was very suspicious that they left the cliffhanger before she got to the moon pool and
Okay.
didn't actually describe her becoming a leader.
Dude.
It was also very suspicious that Sunbeam had a nightmare about Squirrelflight
come on.
becoming leader.
That is so
and that it
nothing.
didn't happen.
That is so nothing. They did that nightmare stuff like twice, and it was like it had absolutely no substance to the story whatsoever. It was just a pad out page space.
But it usually means something when they have
like
a
it's-
cliffhanger that doesn't have an obvious resolution.
But dude, okay,
It's more to the fact that like I guess that Squirrelflight could cause a war by like siding.
Yes, exactly, and that is the entire point. Why, I put it. Stop! Don't do that! Don't do that! I am so 100% on Squirrel Star. Like
they wouldn't.
You think either of us aren't on Squirrel Star?
I want Squirrel Star so bad.
Squirrel Star. You have no idea.
I know, but like I just don't.
Look, I know you're trying to like not set yourselves up to be disappointed.
I will.
I think they do not kill major characters without making a big like fuss about it. They couldn't even kill like Gray Strait without like making like.
I think they would make a massive fuss about Squirrelflight's death, but I also don't think it's off the table.
Yeah,
no, but they set it up. Like, they may have to make it like heroic and like bold and like they don't like just have him be killed in a back alley.
Yes,
they, like,
yes.
Here's my glimmer of hope. Okay, I have a glimmer of hope. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
What's the glimmer of hope?
My glimmer of hope is that oh my god, the opening chapter that is not the first chapter, the
prologue.
The prologue. Thank you. I'm sorry, ADHD. I'm
an official Warrior Cats writer. I know such terminology as prologue.
Yeah, I know the word prologue, I swear. Anyway, my glimmer of hope is that the prologue will be Squirrelflight's leader ceremony, and that's why it was skipped over in this book.
That is a huge crossed fingers things, because that would also mean that we get to see Squirrel Star's leader ceremony, which I don't think we're getting otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, okay, I already put out like a 5 or 6 tweet thread about this.
Yeah,
but
this is why I left it till the end, because it's an ongoing battle between you.
Okay, dude.
I haven't said a thing in this battle. He's been fighting an imaginary me on Twitter.
I haven't been fighting you on Twitter. I was just talking about it.
The real you was fighting on Discord. The imaginary you fought on Twitter.
Dude, no, there are people that agree with you, Moon, and they were replying. I tweeted saying Squirrel Star, Squirrel Star, Squirrel Star, Squirrel Star like 6 times because I was hyped. Because like this was me just coming off of the book. You know, it's like one of the the 3 things I tweeted about the 4, I guess now, about the book. And I was like actually getting replies from other people going, "Oh, they're gonna kill her. They're gonna kill her." And then I'm just thinking, like, did you even read the book? Did you read the book? Which is why I felt like I had to like put out that thread on Twitter with like all those receipts, you know, and like kind of explaining the whole logic behind it, because I like, even if like Kate Carey like hates Squirrelflight, you know,
Kate Carey has no say in this.
Yeah, Kate Carey, yeah, even if she is writing the next book, right? All I'm saying is that they would not have spent so much time building up Bramblestar. You know, they wouldn't have spent any time on Bramblestar at all, giving him any sort of like conclusive like end to like his like leadership, and actually explaining why he would be stepping down if Squirrel Star wasn't going to happen.
But that's all the more reason to kill her right now.
Stop! No, come on!
That could be an argument for either way, is the thing. Because it could mean they're setting up for Bramblestar to step down, and he's going to join the Elders, and Squirrel Star is going to take over as the next strong leader.
Yes!
Or it could mean we're further propelling Bramblestar into the depths and sending ThunderClan into a spiral of having a weak leader while the clans are in turmoil by having Squirrelflight die.
Oh my god, no.
And they love killing female love interests.
No,
like,
dude.
And it's like, and additionally, like, if they're sick and tired of everybody complaining about Bramblestar, this would be the biggest middle finger they could send to the fandom possible.
Dude, okay, no, the whole point of Bramblestar even stepping down as leader in the first place is that, like, he's fed up with it. He literally can't do it anymore because of what happened to the dark in the Dark Forest. It changed him. You know,
yes.
I don't think them propelling that further has any substance with the plot at all, especially with them taking the time with that last chapter that Sunbeam had to have Tiger Star find out about Splashtail and all of them and up his control over River Clan and position those additional warriors there full time.
If Frostpaw, Mothwing, and Leaf Star and whoever else is willing to join them desperately need someone to help them deal with River Clan and Shadow Clan, getting Shadow Clan out and also helping them gain control of River Clan, then having a completely dead-eyed, placid, depressed leader in ThunderClan would itself be a conflict. This is something
Yes.
that Nightheart and Sunbeam now need to fight against. That
Yeah,
they
but
have a leader who is so incredibly depressed that he cannot do anything.
That was the point of him in this book, though. Like he was the only thing, you know, other than
make it worse.
He was the deciding vote, you know, keeping everyone from keeping SkyClan and whatever from attacking ShadowClan, which is exactly why, you know, I mean, they even have Squirrelflight like openly disagree with him. And that portion of the book, that it is absolutely going to be like one of the driving elements of the plot next book.
So
that
Squirrelflight in his corner, he gets significantly worse, and ThunderClan now has no general upkeep, no sense of organization. It's now a hellscape. Nightheart and Sunbeam are trying to keep the clan afloat on their own. I don't know.
Dude, okay. Akira said this. I know nobody wants to get their hopes up too high, but I think that like it is almost like 100% guaranteed that it's going to happen. They wouldn't have, you know, even if they are following the structure, they wouldn't have had an extra chapter for him to say, okay guys, we're going to the moon pool, unless they weren't like literally setting that up to happen, like actually to be fulfilled upon.
Or unless they're specifically setting up a cliffhanger that it won't
happen. No.
See, here's the thing.
No.
I'm not fully on Moon's side either. I don't think it's a guarantee that she's going to die, but I don't think it's a guarantee that she's leader either. I think at this point, either option is a possibility, and we have to wait to see.
Okay, I could see StarClan denying them at that, but I think that is like the furthest extent that they are going to go with it at all. Because like Squirrel Star, her presence and her like what she would do for the plot, it hinges too greatly on that importance of her becoming leader. You know, they wouldn't just like if they did kill her, like all that would do was just perpetuate that, you know, the what is it, ShadowClan controlling RiverClan even further when they're already like approaching like a sort of like climax to that, right? They wouldn't deliver on that if Squirrel Star, like, you know, like, I don't know. I just
okay, like here's the thing. There is nothing I want more than Squirrel Star, okay? This is for like several reasons. The first being that if Squirrelflight say retires, she's going out with like a fizzle, you know. She's going, oh yeah, I guess my legacy can just be watching Sparkpelt raise her kids, you know. And that that's fine for the end of Squirrelflight's hope, but like for the end of her life, it feels wrong because she has been through more than any other cat in this entire series. Like that's how I feel anyway, is that we have a Squirrelflight who has been in, whether you agree that she should have been or not, she has been in the center of conflict after conflict after conflict, long after she has been
personal and clan wide.
Yeah.
She is like the partially because she is like Firestar Jr. and partially because she has just been here as the most significant alive female character since the second series. It feels, you know, important and relevant for her to become leader. It feels right for her to become leader. And even though she's old and needs to, you know, take kind of like a second fiddle to the much less interesting Bramblestar for books and books and books and books, I think that this is something that the character that feels earned by the character, that feels like relevant and good. But secondarily to all of these feelings that I have about her becoming leader, I worry that one, they're either going to be too like okay. There's so many things I'm worried about, and I don't want to take over the entire podcast with me talking about Squirrelflight. But the big thing that concerns me the most about this situation really is the idea that she is either going to be die or be turned down. And the reason that I'm worried about this is, one, because it would create more individual conflict within ThunderClan, the book that the book is named after, the clan that the book
Thunder?
is named after is Thunder Clan. It's Thunder. If she is either turned down or she dies, then suddenly Thunder Clan is going to be a mess, you know? Because, like, first of all, she's been deputy for how long? Why would Star Clan reject her, especially after creating
She
a
has
rule
been
that
deputy
leaders
for the
can
entire period Bramblestar has been a leader.
Yeah. So especially after the rule that leaders can be like gotten rid of if they're bad leaders, even the idea that they would reject Squirrel Flight at the moon pool, that's just sexist. It's a sexist idea to me. I know that they rejected Owl Nose previously. Well, they didn't. I'm not sure if they rejected Owl Nose. It's kind of unclear.
Yeah.
But like, I know that like they've rejected leaders previously, but the idea that they would reject a willing leader with a willing deputy after they have put this code into place, it just feels like narratively like it's stabbing the female character in the back, especially when we're about to have 0 female leaders in like two series probably. And secondarily, so if they refuse her, I think that might be even worse to me than if they kill her to some extent. But if they kill her, then it's just to make Bramblestar worse. It's another it's another situation where they take a female character and they get rid of them to make a male character sad or depressed or worse or deteriorate. And it's like, I'm tired of this.
Yeah, and see that's why I think, you know, that they were so conclusive with Bramblestar in this book specifically. They gave like a very decent chunk of page time dedicated to explaining why Bramblestar can't do this anymore, why he's stepping down, why Squirrel Flight is going to be taking over as leader. And like I feel like that's enough to really secure like her position as leader. And at this point, I don't think that Squirrel Flight, like, I don't think she's gonna die for like the rest of the series going on ever. Like if Warriors just like eventually stopped, right? Squirrel Flight like isn't, like, at this point, if she's becoming leader, there is no way that she is going to like die, you know, other than losing her lives, you know.
If we consider for a second, she's a cat. She's only like 8 or 9, to be honest with you. She's only like somewhere between 8 and 10. She's got a good 7 years left in her, and
right. And then look at Misty Star, you know, she was alive for like literally the entire series until this arc, you know, and beforehand, you know. Outside of Dawn of the Clans, obviously, you know, but I don't know, man. I think there's too much evidence pointing towards Squirrel Flight actually being leader that they wouldn't do that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, maybe I'm getting my hopes up too high, but
like this would be the one good thing Bramblestar ever did for her in his entire damn life.
Yes, and that's exactly why I said, you know, at the beginning, this is the only book that I have actually been able to sympathize with Bramblestar. You know, and it's crazy that even happened, but like they actually took the time to like give him a proper explanation, and the way that they had Nightheart like kind of understand that, and they gave those paragraphs of context. They even talked about how, oh, maybe he should consult Jayfeather or, you know, Alderheart, because they're like seriously like considering this as like an actual like mental health problem that Bramblestar is going through. And for the first time I have ever read anything about him, like there is like he's like genuinely become like something that like that's something that I could like sympathize with him over, because of the way that they like took the time to explore that. And that's why I say that it's conclusive enough, because they wouldn't, you know, spend all this time recognizing that he's like actually ill, right? If they were just going to like, you know, hit him in the face and just, oh, you're back to being leader now because Squirrel Flight died, or you know, oh, the dogs are coming again and she's gonna be eaten up just like Curlfeather, yum yum, eating my squilf, you know, whatever. It's not, I don't, you know, hey.
I don't think that, here's the thing. I don't think that it matters how much evidence there is or how much sense it would make or how good narratively it would be. I I think that they are completely willing to just turn around on a dime because that's what they did in this book.
Yep. Hey, I totally understand that. I completely understand that, and I get that argument. But I really feel that they would not have taken the measures that they did in this book if they didn't want Squirrel Star to happen. So.
Yes, we'll have to see then.
Yeah, we'll have to see. This is something that we're not going to know.
Yeah.
But it is the first time that Squirrel Star has ever been dropped in a book. By the way, Bramble Star said that she was going to become Squirrel Star. And I'm pretty sure
that is a word that appeared in this book. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Any final
Akira?
I didn't get to
thoughts
say
on
anything.
Shadow?
I didn't get to say
yes,
anything.
sorry.
on this one.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Akira was waiting.
This entire argument. Sorry, go ahead, Akira.
I just want to say I do want to have faith that the writers like do see like, you know, do see the feedback and do see that Squirrelflight is a very popular character and like wanted like do something that will like basically, you know, help the books be more popular and like boost this character that the fans love.
Right, yeah. They wouldn't hey, Bramble Star, no merch. Squirrel Flight, merch. That's all you need right there. That's literally all you need. That's exactly why they're not going to kill Jay Feather.
Bramble Star is ugly brown tabby number 54.
Yeah.
Whereas Squirrel Flight is pretty ginger she-cat with a very distinctive feature of one white paw.
Yeah, but they've been around in the story for the same amount of time, and Bramble Claw has had more chapters than Squirrel Flight ever did, you know, whenever she was introduced. So if they haven't done it already, you know, then I don't think it's going to happen ever. You know,
not to interrupt, but there's no way in heck that Brambleclaw is ugly. I'm just putting that out there. Like if Brambleclaw was ugly, he would never get away with any of the things that Brambleclaw does ever.
That is so true.
I think Warrior Cat's brown tabbies are just ugly by default.
Why would you say that to Ocelot?
I said Warrior Cat's brown tabby.
You said that to Ocelot. You said that to his face.
Ocelot is so beautiful. He's such a good boy. But like,
the look on the handsome cat's
I
face.
know. And have you seen that Tom's face?
No, I mean we haven't seen anybody's face outside of the the manga.
The look on that handsome Tom's face is in fact priceless.
Hey, wasn't
He's not handsome?
Hey,
the describing word is handsome. We're going with that.
Hey, we've seen
also,
him.
Leafpool. I think she's only attractive in like an unconventional way. I don't think she's as naturally cute as Squirrel Flight or Devwing, for example.
I think that Squirrel Flight was was only popular because she was the only single girl in her clan. Actually,
that's and also like I feel like there's no like such thing as like attractiveness like in Warrior Cats except for like maybe looking at point out stars and such. Because we as a fandom we basically
we invent what
as a fandom we basically judge the cats based on how many like cats are walking after them.
I think my inclination is usually just to assume that the more times a book calls a cat handsome or beautiful, the less I'm inclined to believe it, except in the eyes of the character I'm talking about.
I think that was a more pre-story team thing than it is now, though.
Mothwing is so beautiful. Mothwing's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. Mothwing's so pretty.
She says about the character that we have literally never seen ever.
We saw her in the manga.
Okay, yeah, along with Bramble Star, might I add, who has also had appearances in the manga, but you call them ugly, so...
I didn't call them ugly. Sunny? One thing we didn't really talk about much, aside from frustration, is, like, anything that happened in, like, the first 2/3 of the books with Sunbeam and Nightheart, and, I do want to point out that, he does just impose himself on her, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think I think it is interesting or at least un-Eren-like for it to for there to be an actual progression to Sunbeam's feelings for Nightheart, which I do not like, by the way. I do not appreciate that she grows to like him, but I do think that the fact that she has a progression in becoming someone who eventually likes him is more than they usually do.
This is fair.
Briss did not get this kind of lenience.
I agree that they paced themselves significantly better as far as actually putting in midpoints between I don't care about this man in the love sense and oh my gosh, he's my one true love. And that is admittedly a thing to acknowledge as a good point that they did in fact write out more of that transition. I think it's just being soured by the fact that I didn't like the transition in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, you can not like something, but
Yeah.
I don't like it either, to be honest. I'm just acknowledging that they did.
No, you're absolutely right. That is a good point, and the trying is something that should be acknowledged and celebrated.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this earlier. I mean, it's a good thing that it even happened, but you know, again, was it earned? No, you know, so
it just doesn't it doesn't feel earned from Sunbeam's side. I think it makes sense for Nightheart. And this is like there's more steps to it, and I think the execution of it was better. But it's almost the exact same feelings that I had about Rootspring and Bristlefrost mid last arc, where I think it would make sense for Nightheart to be able to reach out to Sunbeam, and I think that developing a better respect for her after imposing her in his life is a good thing. And even developing some restraint and the ability to walk away. Those are all good things for his character.
yeah.
I don't think it's good for Sunbeam. I don't think any of this is good for Sunbeam.
It's kind of done at the sacrifice of Sunbeam. Yeah. You know, I really
feel like it could have just been so much better of just all I had to do was just make Sunbeam mad that like after Nightheart leaves and be like just make her a little more upset. Like at Nightheart, not like she's upset at Shadow Clan when she should be like upset at Nightheart.
Yep.
I guess the thing is, for the first 2/3 of the book, while I was reading the first 2/3 of the book, I didn't want Sunbeam to be falling in love with Nightheart at all. I think it would have been better for her as a character to not actually like him that way and be sticking up for him as a friend, as a point of realization that I like this guy and I'm okay being around him, but I don't want to start a relationship with him. Oh, wait, that's what I was doing to Blazefire.
Right.
Well, no, because Blazefire was definitely on like Blazefire talks like he wasn't, but like Blazefire and Sunbeam were cuddling on a rock. Like there's no way in heck.
It's a weird one.
It's just, but like obviously that's what I wanted from Rootspring and Bristlefrost was for Bristlefrost to go, hey, wait, this kid is me. But I don't think Nightheart is Sunbeam.
Not in the way
I don't think the parallel
Rootspring
works.
was Bristlefrost. No.
But like,
there's still a lesson that Sunbeam could learn from Nightheart's attraction to her.
Before this started, right? I thought, okay, it would be great if Sunbeam realized, oh wait, I'm still upset about my friends and I'm pushing myself into this relationship in a rebound sort of way, and she learned from that. That would be great. And I think it would be especially great if she has this kid in the clan, but she's pretending she's in a relationship with him because her mom is so terrible. I think that would be great too. And then like after the preview, but now it's like, okay, sure, she falls in love with him. I don't mind, but the fact that they give her all of those emotions, like all of that, like I'm so upset, I'm so betrayed, right? Yeah. And he did. He used her. He used her for his personal growth. He turned his back on Shadow Clan on the drop of a dime. He used her at
both ends of the story.
And he didn't actually feel strongly enough about her to care about her more than ThunderClan. And those are all really, really deeply upsetting implications. And the fact that she didn't harbor that resentment is so frustrating.
She responds by saying, well, it's so nice that he's willing to go after his clan now, la-di-da, I'll chase him.
Yeah, it's exactly why the book should have just ended after Frostpaw died.
If you were going to choose the route that Sunbeam does in fact love him, that she is in fact falling for him now, even if she didn't love him at the beginning, then those feelings need to matter.
Yeah, like, especially because, like, I mean, he's the one that abandoned her, right? And for her to just, like, instantly, like, just forget about it, you know, in favor, and, like, twist that into an, Shadow Clan is the problem thing, it doesn't make any sense. You know, it doesn't make any sense at all.
But, yeah, sorry, sorry if I repeated anything that's going to be in Akira's video, but,
yeah.
Do you want to, give us any recaps, reviews, now that all of us have gone to watch your video partway through this?
That!
I think we addressed this earlier, but what I was saying is another point that I had in the video is that, like, I think it's like almost, it's like a rather like mature like message for them to like tell that like Nightheart, like, basically, like, to do what's right for himself he has to hurt someone else, and that's just like the way it is. He put himself in that situation. It's the only way. And that, like, that works when you have the consequence for his action, the consequence that he, like, you know, hurt this other cat and he has to live with that guilt. But they just erase that by erasing Sunbeam's character.
The other cat totally understands. Woohoo. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I desperately wanted to like Sunbeam. I want to like Sunbeam so bad now, even. But I foresee a road she's going down, and I don't like it.
Yeah, no, I feel like it was pretty obvious that that whole thing at the end only happened just so that they could place her in ThunderClan. You know, there was no, like, they didn't do a good job. Like, they didn't give us any further explanation other than she just, like, shows up in ThunderClan. Really, like, that's pretty much it. You know,
unless you're...
Can they still break up, guys? Can they still break
I hope.
up?
Unless you're sending Nightheart with Frostpaw next book, you would still have a point of view in ThunderClan.
Yeah,
you could
exactly,
leave
yeah.
Sunbeam, angry Sunbeam, with her mom in ShadowClan as part of the villain crew now, and that would give you eyes into 3 clans-ish at once. This could only be a benefit to you.
I don't know. I feel like they'd still, like, have, like, the main cast retain POVs, because, I mean, like, that's what they did this book, right? Both Nightheart and Sunbeam were in ShadowClan, and so they didn't.
I mean, yeah.
You think there's any, like, significance for them slapping Sunbeam with Finchlight and Sparkpelt on the cover? It's just like,
yeah. I think that gives more credence to the fact that it's going to be Nightheart that leaves to go with.
I guess that could be almost interesting, having like that, like maybe Nightheart leaves without them like knowing that he's gone, without knowing why he's gone. So then like Sunbeam has to like fill in for like this like gap that like, oh, Nightheart abandoned us again.
Yeah,
Sunbeam has to be like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah, I don't think they'd go like tracking him down though necessarily.
No, I mean, but like Sunbeam has to feel that like emotion.
Yeah. I know.
Be like, guys, it's okay. Nightheart's gonna come back.
Yeah.
Or something.
I know. I just wanted to add that there for everybody to lose it.
We're 1 out of 3 on things that actually happened as the covers right now.
Yeah, literally. So
Fidget Flake definitely happened.
Yeah, Fidget.
Totally. Fidget Flake,
I mean, he was
existed
there
in that book.
He was there. Yeah, I mean, he was there.
he went on that journey for a couple chapters.
Yeah, and Misty Star certainly was. Misty Star definitely was the point of that first book.
Poor Sunbeam got half her face shaved on the cover of Thunder.
Did she?
Yeah. Looks like somebody just would shaved off her cheek flap on only one side.
Oh,
and obviously Finchlight can see God, but more importantly, the shaving.
Yeah.
Sorry. What?
Sorry, Sunny. I forgot you can't see things in your head. Take a peek at the cover of Thunder real quick.
Are you talking about how she's like zooted out of her mind?
Although that's
She's
how like
scooted out
cats
of my
actually look in the light when
She's
you like
looking
there's light in their
directly
eye.
at the sun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Her poor retinas, they're being
And
fried.
Wow.
pupils are definitely going in different directions, the poor thing.
Oh, you sweetie. I'm so sorry.
Nah, she's fried.
Needs sunglasses.
Yeah. Hey, maybe they could go back to that tent. You know what I'm saying? With the
Sees the light.
yeah, with like the Pomeranian or whatever that was in there that bought Nightheart for the blanket or whatever.
I think the ideal is that was a Pomeranian. That's the funniest because
Yeah, that would
the
be so
Pomeranian
funny.
has no strength, has no power.
Mhm.
You know,
And they have to
It-
look like a blanket, look like a blanket or something when they're
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
As we're discussing Thunder, though, are there any last thoughts, hopes, wishes, or predictions
No,
going into our next book?
I feel like everything's pretty set out, you know, in terms of what like I think's gonna happen. You know, hey, Frostpaw died. The blurb revealed too much about what was gonna happen in Thunder, and I feel like with what we know now that happened in Shadow, you can connect the dots pretty
The blurb
easily.
centering around Frostpaw kind of
Yeah, it kind of ruined
the
that.
cliffhanger part of this. Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, I
They
mean,
don't reveal anything about Nightheart Sunbeam.
yeah.
Maybe because they didn't want to reveal they went back to ThunderClan, I guess. So, I don't know.
Yeah. But what is it? Hey, even if the blurb like basically like spelled it out for us that Frostpaw was gonna die, I still thought it was like absolutely chilling whenever she like, because you knew that she was gonna die as soon as she started talking to Splashtail.
Talking to Splashtail.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah, and the whole. I think like the following scene is kind of like spooky.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, I was
Like he's just like underwater. Like
Yeah.
they're like saying like the current was just like moving. Like he was like underwater, holding his breath.
yeah, I was waiting with bated breath that entire time. They had me hooked on that chapter, which is why I was so disappointed when they decided to continue the book after that happened. But what can I do? What can you do?
But there were so many good characters, so many good interactions, so many good plot points in this book.
Yes, very, very
I
strong entry.
liked it.
I think I liked it,
I
but
think I
like,
liked it.
okay, me liking it is not a metric because if I didn't still like reading these books, I wouldn't keep reading them. You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fair.
It's
Hey,
like good for Warrior Cat standards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it, but you know, I mean,
I felt like we spent more time tearing it apart, but like it's
yeah. I mean,
my favorite character in the arc is going down a very dark path, but I liked everything else.
Hey, it has its problems, but you know, I mean, you know, for the forest you got to see the trees. Yeah, for the forest you got to see the trees.
Problems this guy.
So yeah,
I don't forgive Bramblestar for the setup he did in the last book.
that's so. Oh my god, that's
Oh gosh.
so true.
What
I think
What are you referring to?
I'm referring to the situation that he manufactured where Nightheart was going to come into Squirrelflight's attention for the secret mission so that he could yell at Squirrelflight.
Yeah, they kind of just forgot that existed. Maybe that was one of those things that they didn't communicate.
Yeah, he didn't.
I don't think Cherith had any idea it happened.
Yeah, it wasn't mentioned at all. Just like
Not in the slightest.
all they mentioned is that like Bramblestar still likes to talk to Nightheart.
Yeah,
that's about it. Good grandpa grandson relationships.
I mean the way they made him almost kind of like geriatric was like sad. Like it was like actually sad to me. Like whenever Nightheart went up and talked to him or whatever, and he started talking about birds or whatever, dude, that depressed me. That thoroughly depressed me so hard. And I gotta admit, I thought they handled Bramblestar pretty well this book for the first time.
And it's also really sad how he's like he feels like awkward like going to Jayfeather and Alderheart for help because they're his family.
Yeah.
It's like he can't get like a doctor that's like not like biased, I guess.
Yeah.
Part of the problem when you only have family members as the leadership,
which is like throws out the whole point of like medicine cats can't have kids because like
Obviously,
They're basically
there's gonna be
family anyway.
bias.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of implication here, though, that, I mean, it's kind of true if you look back on the previous books, but there's a lot of implication carried by this book, divorced from those books, that Bramblestar doesn't confide in his medicine cats, which feels strictly un-Warriors-like, and while him being their father would realistically contribute to a problem like that, because obviously if you've got two sons, one of which you don't acknowledge as your son all of a sudden, who are both the medicine cats, and you choose not to confide in them, you only confide in poor dang Squirrelflight, that's that's creating a problem that I don't think any other Warrior Cats leader has had. I mean, obviously, the first couple arcs definitely play up how important a medicine cat is. Blue Star and Spotted Leaf, Firestar and Cinderpelt, and also to some extent Firestar and Leafpool all have a bit of like a deeper connection as leader and medicine cat that isn't really expanded on going forward with Bramblestar at all.
Bramblestar has, since his conception, since his introduction as Brambleclaw, the brand new character who is not Bramblepaw in the New Prophecy, had a problem with relying on others for much of anything, unless it was specifically people that he had control over or was ordering around. He had a hard time with sharing his leadership or taking advice from advisors. And I don't know that he ever got over that. I also don't think any of this is something the authors are thinking about.
Oh yeah.
It's just a thing I've noticed to be true.
Or maybe they kind of lost their way with the close medicine cat leader connection with Jayfeather, and how he always kept the prophecy secret from Firestar, even when Firestar knew.
Oh, that is true. That is true.
They did probably lose it at that point, yeah. But he was also an apprentice then. Firestar didn't trust him at all.
Yeah. But I mean, as you said, I don't know if maybe that's giving them too much credit.
I think something else that I'm immediately thinking about is that, and obviously this isn't something that would be on the author's minds, but this is something that's easily deducted, is that Bramblestar and Leafpool basically never have a good relationship. They never make up. They never are. They're never really referenced in reference to each other, and Leafpool should ideally be his medicine cat and be someone that he confides in and be someone he talks to, especially when, obviously I'm sure Squirrelflight and Leafpool were constantly in communication for reasons.
Leafpool had 3 separate prophecies about Brambleclaw when he was first becoming a deputy.
Oh god, yeah, that's right.
There's so much unresolved tension, really, between Leafpool and Bramblestar that they never get into, that I'm suddenly feeling the weight of disappointment over.
Yeah. I'm feeling a lot of retroactive. I'm feeling a lot of retroactive disappointment over some lacks of potentials shown there. Because, back in the New Prophecy, Leafpool got the Blood will spill blood prophecy. The Squirrelflight and Squirrelflight and Brambleclaw should be together forever prophecy.
Yeah, and then the Bramble
and
one.
The Brambles will protect the camp. It's actually Thorns, guys. You should have chosen Thornclaw for your deputy, but fine, Brambles. They literally say Thorns, and you interpreted it as Brambles. Fine, but anyway, the Brambleclaw should be our deputy sign, and she does not talk to him about any of these. She just gets them and then keeps them in her head and lets them sit there. And never resolves her feelings at all.
Yeah.
Sounds like an exceptionally reasonable woman to me.
Yeah.
It made it even worse that she was killed off in between arcs as well. So, but I feel like unrealized potential is that's just warrior cats. There are 50 million characters that on paper, could be incredible.
1,000 different fan fictions.
Yeah, exactly.
About each individual character.
That's why fan content is so popular with Warriors, is that there's a lot of unrealized potential with these characters, and that's why you see them fleshed out and stuff like apps and PMVs and all that stuff is because I mean the Warriors, like, it kind of leaves you the template sometimes, you know, or they're leaving you out to dry, you know, like your wet towel, you know, that's yeah.
Here's the potential. Go forth and do what you will.
Yep.
We forgot to finish our own story.
But specifically, like, while it makes a lot of sense to me that Bramblestar doesn't confide in his medicine cats because he never has, that's also just, you know, worrying. Like, I don't think, like, I would think, ideally, that if Squirrelflight becomes leader, she's not going to have this problem, you know, despite the fact that both of the medicine cats are kind of her sons.
She talks to her sons significantly more than Bramblestar ever did.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem with Squirrelflight necessarily, like as it was like on Bramblestar's front.
Well, if we were imagining these as real people and saying, well, Squirrelflight's becoming deputy, Squirrelflight isn't the type of person who would ignore her sons, that would be entirely correct. But we're thinking about this as a book series, and if they've started to rely on the trend or the crutch that the leader just doesn't talk to their medicine cat that much and not much gets resolved that way, it might continue.
I think that's more of a problem of they don't have that medicine cat POV, or there's not like really anything that could be leading them to us seeing that conversation unless we, you know,
eavesdropping.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. or they're specifically invited to the den or along to the pool. But counterpoint to that, Bramblestar, whenever he was venting to Nightheart, specifically brought up that him and Jay Feather went to the moon pool to consult StarClan over what he was experiencing, what he was feeling. And Jay Feather, he spoke to Leafpool, and Leafpool said that he had to have a sacrifice, right? And Bramblestar originally interpreted that as, oh, he's gonna die. But then Nightheart comes in, and he's like, maybe the sacrifice is you stepping down as leader. And that's what ultimately puts him onto that idea, and why he then goes to talk with Squirrelflight about it, and they, I guess, come to agreement over it off screen.
I bet you Alderheart could have had that idea easy.
Whatever, okay.
Sorry, I think the closing thoughts caused another conversation.
It did. Are there any... Okay, wait a second. Let's do an acting exercise here.
Oh God, not good.
Pick 5 words that describe your feelings on Shadow, or your feelings on the progression of this current arc.
I don't know, honestly. I feel like it would be naive for me to just say good.
One of your words can be naive.
Okay, that is true. That is oddly very applicable, Moon. Very thank you for that. Naive, that would very much describe the Nightheart Sunbeam situation. Good, just in general, because like I think they're doing a very decent job at carrying the story right now. But again, we're 3 books in. I don't want to say suspenseful, but I think that's going to be one of my words, because even if Splashtail was like really on the nose, I have thoroughly enjoyed the way that Splashtail like has been dealt with as a character in it. It's I think it's interesting, and like kind of maybe even on purpose, and maybe this is copium, but I think it's really engaging for us as the reader, for us to like obviously know that it's Splashtail, you know, with like no, like almost without a shadow of a doubt that it's him, but for the characters to be completely clueless. And I think that added like just an extra layer of suspense to that whole scene wherever, you know, Frostpaw was confessing to Splashtail, right? You know, and I think that does more good for the character than it does harm in it being a sort of like plot convenience in sort of a contrived sort of the manner. Man, I can't think of 2 more words. I think I might just leave it there, because
that's fine.
Yeah,
that's good. I think I have in this time come up with hesitant to describe myself about the book, and then 4 that are actually about the book: surprising, well plotted, disappointing, and rich. Because It's nice. It's well plotted. There's a lot of rich character moments. Some that actually surprised me and how well they were done. And also, there's the one big grading thing that my favorite character is going down the dark path. I'm sorry, Sunbeam.
Yay! Oh wait, that was not a happy thing. I shouldn't have cheered that. Why'd I do that?
Yay,
the rest of it was good.
Sunbeam.
Yay, Sunbeam! Please,
Sorry, I didn't.
break up with your boyfriend.
Oh, I thought of my fourth word. My fourth word is Barb.
Oh, Barb.
Barb.
Uh,
We love Barb.
Squirrel Star isn't your fifth word? I'm surprised.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I guess I kind of did open it up to including character names there. Yeah, I say that like Barb is like actually her name. Yeah, Squirrel Star, absolutely. Like, I am 100% a Squirrel Star truther, but I think everybody figured that out from my reaction when that was brought up earlier.
It was fairly evident, yeah. Akira on Moon.
Well, words.
Words.
Thinking. I probably won't come up. I don't know if I can like just come up with specific words, but I'll say that interesting relationships, but not fully like
Realize.
there's some problems. I don't know.
Yeah,
Fair.
Yeah, I totally see that. I
Absolutely
fully
makes
agree.
sense.
Yeah, I fully agree.
The 5 words thing is not an actual strict exercise. We're not in an acting
This seems.
class.
I'm just gonna argue that. Okay, so like if we're making this out to be an improv class, I think 5 is kind of a high number. Is that usually what they go for?
5 is the usual number. Well,
that is so weird.
It does depend on how much you're describing, but
Like, what
yeah,
are you supposed to be
5 words
describing?
is-
Like,
5
if you're
words.
describing a chair, I can think of 5 words easy. But if you're describing a novel, it's a bit.
Yeah, if you're summarizing a story, the actual way this would usually be played out, especially if you're working in a dual literacy drama setting, is that you would ask them to explain a summary of the story in 2 minutes, then in 1 minute, 30 seconds, 10 seconds, and then 5 words.
Okay, so these words were like a summary in your head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like anything to sum up your thoughts.
Ooh, I thought
Okay.
it was good. 5. There you go.
I thought
Well,
it
I
was
think
good.
mine was-
That is
mine was-
indeed 5.
I think mine actually did is like interesting characters, but some problems.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Interesting
good.
characters,
Yeah.
but some problems. Yeah. That's
Akira
5
won.
words.
Anyway, my
I
5
think I said
words.
relationships, but yeah.
Interesting relationships, but some problems. Yeah, 5 words.
My 5 words are fringe whisker, and then relieved.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Worried.
Yep.
Goodbye, podcast. That's 6
uh,
words.
That's with a dash. Goodbye podcast. is with
Goodbye
a
dash podcast is my last word.
This is the goodbye
And,
podcast.
yeah. And with that, I'd say it's a good time to sign off. Thank you, everyone, for coming by to hear us speak. If you've gotten to this point in the video, make sure you check out Akira's channel down below, where she's posted a great video talking about some of the things that we talked about today. She posted this video a week ago, so you can all go see it now.
That's
There's
right.
also 2 other channels down there, and you should visit them.
Yeah.
them
Go
all
watch
likes and-
Stone Clan. I'm
Give
sure
them all
that's
likes
relevant.
and subscribes. Don't tell them Sunnyfall sent you. Give them nice comments that are related to their content.
You can tell me Sunnyfall sent you. I don't care
Tell-
what the
tell
comments
Moon.
say.
Tell Moon specifically that Sunnyfall sent you and no one else.
Hey, I don't
Just
mind
put
it.
1,000 comments on my video that says Sunnyfall sent you. I'll take them. I'll take them like
Hey.
liberally.
Yeah, I agree with Moon on that one.
Never mind. Don't listen to me. Anyway, thank you all for coming. Thank you for joining me again. It was a delightful time being able to chat about this book with you, and I hope we can do it again at some time soon.
Awesome.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.